Uh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Can you go unplug that for me? Just the speaker. All right, we'll get started. Shalom, Israel. Yah Bashim Yah Shai Barakatham. Yah Shemal Thum Bashim Yah Shai. I'm Priest Officer Parak holding down the Sabbath service for the ISUPK out of Arizona. As we all know, today is our Oppressor's New Year, right? We understand that. Last night, everybody was drunk as hell. Probably nobody is awake yet. It's 10:30. Nobody's awake now, right? Because everybody's hung the hell over from last night. All of the disgusting reveling that they was doing last night, right? But as for us, we up here serving the Most High. You know, first thing in the morning. Get out of hand, right? So today we're gonna talk about New Year's. Like the reason why I do these classes like this, right? Last Saturday I did a class on Christmas or a Sabbath service on Christmas. Why? To shame everybody that decided that they was gonna serve Christmas instead of serve the Most High. And now today, everybody that decided that they was gonna serve the Roman god Janus and serve the white man instead of serving the Most High. Now today I'm going to shame them. That's the point of this, right? The scriptures say that Paul said it best. He said, "I speak this to your shame." And that's the way I love. I love to speak that way. That's a beautiful way to speak to me because I want to bring everybody that decides that they're not going to serve the Most High. I want to bring them to shame. I want them to realize because that's what it takes to come into the truth. To come into the truth, you must be ashamed of what you've done, right? I had to be ashamed of being a drug addict. I was high all the time. I had to be ashamed of that before I could come into the truth, right? So you have to be ashamed of those things. And so just like I had to be ashamed of that, you're gonna have to be ashamed of celebrating New Year's and playing with fireworks like a goddamn child. You got to be, you're gonna have to be ashamed of that. You got to be ashamed of putting that Christmas tree in your house, right? But without further ado, we'll get started, right? Today we'll be in Ezekiel, right? The book of Ezekiel, the 14th chapter. Today we're just gonna talk about idol worship, because that's all this is anyway, right? That's all this is anyway. Janus is your idol. The Christmas tree last week was your idol. You switch up idols like a leaf in the wind, right? But we're gonna talk about it. All right. Just me up here, Amadu. Step up.
Baramat ban Yahweh ban Yasharala.
Kabadamak ban Yahweh ban Yasharala.
Yahweh Bashim Yahshua Brakatha.
Yahweh Bashim Yahshua Brakatha. Step up. Sorry. Which means to Israel. All right, everybody else, I imagine, which means to stand. Wapayag with them, which means to turn to face the east. All right, we're gonna get these prayers. Beginning with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa,
Abanawa,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Kodash,
Kodash,
Hayah,
Hayah,
Shamka,
Shamka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Malak with Ka,
Malak with Ka,
Taba'ah,
Taba'ah,
Ratazaka,
Ratazaka,
Hayah,
Hayah,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Barataza,
Barataza,
Kawa,
Kawa,
Hayah,
Hayah,
Bashamayim,
Bashamayim,
Nathalanawa,
Lathandanawa,
Lakam,
Hakam,
Call your one,
Call Yawam,
Wasalak Lanawa,
Wasalaknanawa,
Kawabwat Nawa,
Kabawatnawa,
Kasalak Nawa,
Kasalaknawa,
Kawabwati Nawa,
Kabawatnawa,
Wala'ah,
Wala'ah,
Tabayah Nawa,
Tabayanawa,
Banasar 1,
Banasai 1,
Abal,
Abal,
Hawashai Nawa,
Hoshayanawa,
Mayan,
Mayan,
Raikaya,
Raikaya,
Laka,
Laka,
Amalakwa,
Amalakwa,
Waha'alam,
Waha'ala,
Watha Parah,
Wathapara,
La'awilamyum,
Amen.
Aman. In English, our Father,
Our Father,
which art in heaven,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
thy kingdom come,
thy kingdom come,
thy will be done in earth,
thy will be done in earth,
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts,
and forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
And lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
So be it.
So be it.
The Akak, the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Ba'ashem Yahushai,
Ba'ashem Yahushai,
Baba Kushai,
Baba Kusha,
Nathalanawa,
Lathandanawa,
Hakak,
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 Larapa'ah,
Larapa'ah,
Kal Maka'ala,
Call Maka'ala,
Wakal Madawah,
Call Madawa,
Hakak Latahar,
Hakak Latahar,
Hamatazarayim,
Amatazariah,
Hakak,
Hakak,
Lakwayam,
Lakwayam,
Hamathu,
Amathim,
Hakak,
Hakak,
Arakawa,
Arakawa,
Hatama'ala,
Atama'ala,
Lagarshan,
Garshan,
Ba'ashem Yahushai,
Ba'ashem Yahushai,
Tawaraman.
Tawaraman.
In the English, Yahweh,
Yahweh,
in the name of
in
Yahushai,
the name of Yahushai,
please give us the power
please give us the power
to heal all manner of sickness
to heal all manner of sickness,
and all manner of disease,
and all manner of disease,
the power to cleanse the
the
lepers,
power to cleanse the
the
lepers,
power to raise the
the
dead,
power to raise the dead,
it's like it, the power against unclean spirits,
the power against unclean spirits,
to cast them out.
to cast them out.
In the name of Yahushai,
In the name of Yahushai,
thank you, so be it.
thank you, so be it.
Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah,
Asha'ah,
Ayanya,
Ayanya,
Ahaharyam,
Ahaharyam,
Ma'ayan,
Ma'yan,
Yaba'ah,
Yaba'ah,
Isaiah,
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 Ma'aim,
Ma'aim,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
it's like it. Aisha,
Aisha,
Shemayam,
Shemayam,
Wa'ratazah,
Wa'ratazah,
Ayathan,
Ayathan,
Lamawat,
Lamawat,
Regalka,
Regalka,
Al Yanawam,
Al Yanawam,
Shamarka,
Shamarka,
Hana,
Hana,
La'ah,
La'ah,
Yanawam,
Yanawam,
Wala'ah,
Wala'ah,
Yayashan,
Yayashan,
Shalmar,
Shalmar,
Yasha'ala,
Yasha'ala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Shamarka,
Shamarka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Tazalka,
Tazalka,
Al Yah,
Al Yad,
Yamyaka,
Yamyaka,
Yawamam,
Yawamam,
Hashamash,
Hashamash,
La'ah,
La'ah,
Yakaka,
Yakaka,
Wayarak,
Wayarak,
Balayala,
Bayala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamarka,
Yashamarka,
Makal Rai,
Makal Rai,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Athnapashka,
Athnapashka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Taza'atka,
Taza'atka,
Waba,
Waba,
Wa'aka,
Wa'aka,
Ma'aitha,
Ma'aitha,
Wa'ai,
Wa'ai,
Iwalam.
I will love.
Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills.
I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from Yahweh,
My help cometh from Yahweh,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Yasha'ala
he that keepeth Yasha'ala
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in
and thy coming in
from this time forth
from this time forth
and even forevermore.
and even forevermore.
Psalms the 83rd chapter in the Hebrew. Allahayim,
Allahayim,
Adama Yalaka,
Adama Yalaka,
Al Thakarash,
Al Thakarash,
Wa Al Thashakwat,
Al Thashakwat,
All
Al
Kayahana,
Kayahana,
Awa Yabyaka,
Awa Yabyaka,
Yahamaya 1,
Yahamaya 1,
Ra'ash,
Ra'ash,
Al Aimaka,
Al Aimuka,
Ya'ara Yamwa,
Ya'ira Yamwa,
Sawada,
Sawada,
Wayatha,
Wayatha,
Ya'itazawa,
Ya'itazawa,
Al Tazapawanyaka,
Al Tazapawanyaka,
Amarwa,
Amarwa,
Lakawa,
Lakawa,
Wanakakyadam,
Wanakakyadam,
Magalya,
Magalya,
Wala'a,
Wala'a,
Yazakar,
Yazakar,
Sham Yasha'al,
Sham Yasha'al,
Iwada,
Iwada,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Nawaitazawa,
Nawaitazawa,
Laba,
Laba,
Yakadwa,
Yakadwa,
Auyaka,
Alyaka,
Barya,
Barya,
Yakarathwa,
Yakarathwa,
Ahalya,
Ahalya,
Anawam,
Anawam,
Wayashamai Aliyam,
Wayashama Aliyam,
Mawa'aba,
Mawa'ab,
Wahagarya,
Wahagaryam,
Gabal,
Gabal,
Waimawan,
Waimawan,
Waimalak,
Waimalak,
Palashah,
Palashah,
I'm Yeshabyam,
I'm Yeshabya,
Tazawar,
Tazawar,
Gam Ashawar,
Gamashawar,
Nalawa,
Nalawa,
Imam,
Imam,
Hayawa,
Hayawa,
Zarwai,
Zarwai,
Labanya Lawat,
Labanya Lawat,
Salah,
Salah,
Aishalaham,
Ashalaham,
Kamadian,
Kamadya,
Kasaya,
Kasaya,
Sara'a,
Sara'a,
Kayabian,
Kayabya,
Banakal,
Banakal,
Koyash 1,
Koyash 1,
Nashamagwa,
Nashamakwa,
Bayan,
Bayan,
Da'ra,
Dara,
Slaki, Hayawa,
Hayawa,
Daman,
Daman,
La'adama,
La'adama,
Shayathamwa,
Shayathamwa,
Nada,
Nada,
Yamawa,
Yamawa,
Ka'ira,
Ka'ira,
Wakaza Abba,
Wakazaba,
Wakazabat,
Wakazaba,
Wakazazal,
Wakazazal,
Mana'ai,
Manai,
Kal,
Kal,
Nasaya,
Nasaya,
Kamwa,
Kamwa,
Ashar,
Ashar,
Amarwa,
Amarwa,
Nayarashad,
Nayarashad,
Lanawa,
Lanawa,
Ath,
Ath,
Na'awath,
Nawath,
Alahayim,
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 Shayathamwa,
Shayathamwa,
Kagalgala,
Kagalgala,
Kakwash,
Kakwash,
Lapanya Raka,
Lapanya Raka,
Ka'ash,
Ka'ash,
Taba'ira,
Taba'ira,
Ya'ira,
Ya'ira,
Slaki, Wakala Haba,
Wakala Haba,
Talahat,
Dalahat,
Harayam,
Haryam,
Khan,
Khan,
Tharadapma,
Taradapma,
Basa Iraka,
Basa Iraka,
Wabasa,
Wabasa,
Wapathka,
Wapathka,
Tabahalam,
Tabahalam,
Mala'ah,
Wala'ah,
Panyaham,
Panyaham,
Kuala
Kuala 1,
Wayabakwashwa,
Wayabakwashwa,
Shamka,
Shamka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Yabashwa,
Yabashwa,
Wayabahawa,
Wayabahawa,
Aya'ai,
Aya'ai,
Wayakaparwa,
Wayakaparwa,
Wayabadwa,
Wayabadwa,
Wayadaiwa,
Wayadaiwa,
Kaya Atha,
Kaya Atha,
Shamka,
Shamka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Labadka,
Labadka,
Al-Yawan,
Al-Yawan,
Al-Kaf,
Al-Kal,
Al-Ratazah.
Al-Ratazah.
Psalms, the 83rd chapter in the English. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace,
Hold not thy peace,
and be not still,
and be not still,
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
For lo,
lo,
thine enemies make a tumult,
thine enemies make a tumult,
and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people,
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people,
and consulted against thy hidden
and
ones.
consulted against thy hidden ones.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
Come,
and let us cut them off from being a nation,
and let us cut them off from being a nation,
that the name of Yasha'Allah
that the name of Yasser Allah
may be no more remembered.
may be no more remembered.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
They are confederate against thee,
They are confederate against thee,
the tabernacles of Edom,
the tabernacles of Edom,
and the Ishmaelites,
and the Ishmaelites,
of Moab,
and the
and the
and
Hagarenes,
the Hagarenes,
Gabal,
Gabal,
and Ammon,
Ammon,
and Amalek,
and Amalek,
the Philistines,
the Philistines,
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Assur also is joined with them.
Assur also is joined with them.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah.
Do unto them as unto the Midianites,
Do unto them as unto the Midianites,
as to Sisera,
as to Sisera,
as to Jabin,
as to Jabin,
at the brook of
at
Kasan,
the brook of Kasan,
which perished that endured.
which perished that endured.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like a red,
Make their nobles like a red,
and like Ze'er.
and like Ze'ed.
Yea,
Yea,
all their princes as Zabah,
all their princes as Zabah,
and as Almunah,
and as Amun,
who said,
who said,
Let us take to ourselves
Let us take to ourselves
the houses of
the
Yahweh
houses of Yahweh
in possession.
in possession.
Oh my God,
Oh my God,
make them like a wheel,
make them like a weed,
as the stubble before the wind,
as the stubble before the wind,
as the fire burneth the wood,
as the fire burneth the wood,
and as the flame setteth the mountains on
and
fire.
as the flame set the mountains on fire.
So persecute them with thy tempest,
So persecute them with thy tempest,
and make them afraid with thy
and
storm.
make them afraid with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame,
Fill their faces with shame,
and Slaki, that they may seek thy name.
that they may seek thy name.
O Yahweh,
O Yahweh,
let them be confounded in trouble forever.
let them be confounded in trouble forever.
Yea,
Yea,
let them be put to shame and perish,
let them be put to shame and perish,
that men may know that thou,
that men may know that thou,
whose name alone
whose name alone
is Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
are the most high over all the earth.
art the most high over all the earth.
The blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh,
wa Yahweh Shai,
wa Yahweh Shai,
wa Mayaka Allah,
wa Mayaka Allah,
wa Alahayo,
wa Alahayo,
wa Tazab Ya'ah,
wa Tzab Ya'ah,
Alawap Yahana,
Alawap Yahana,
Ha Alawapya,
Ha'alawap
Ha Saranyu,
Hasaranya,
Ha Kwatazayanyu,
Hakwata Zayanya,
Hakaya Yoyu,
Hakaya Yalu,
Waha Gwathin,
Waha Wakya,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bashim Yahweh Shai,
Bashim Yahweh Shai,
the Waraman,
the Waraman.
in the English. Bless you, Yahweh,
Bless you, Yahweh,
and Yahweh Shai,
and Yahweh Shai,
and Michael,
and Michael,
and the angels,
and the angels,
Commanding General Yohanan,
Commanding General Yohanan,
the general,
the general,
the
the
captains,
captain,
the officers,
the officers,
the troopers,
the troopers,
and the sisters.
and the sisters.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
in the name of Yahweh
in
Shai,
the name of Yahweh Shai.
thank you. So be it.
Thank you, so be it.
Sorry, while you're shopping, we can be seated. All right. I'm gonna read the first 7. You're gonna read the next 7. All right. Just follow along. All right. So we'll be in Ezekiel the 14th chapter. We're just gonna read from the first verse all the way on down.
Can I grab a sword?
Yeah. You can use mine. All right. Ezekiel the 14th chapter. And then we'll read the first 7 verses in the Hebrew, beginning at verse 1. Wayaba wa'a al ya anashim mazakwanya yasha Allah wayashabwa lapanya. Verse 2. Wa Yahya, Debar, Yahweh al Yah, La Amar, verse 3, Bun, Adam, Ha'anashim, Ha'alha, Ha'alwa, Galawal Yaham, Al, it's like a Labam, Wamakash Wal, it's like a Iwanam, it's like a Nathan Wa, Nakak, it's like a Nakak, Panyaham, Ha'adarash, Adarash, Laham, verse 4, Lakan, Salakia, Debar. I don't know why that jammed me up like that. Salakia. Debar, Awatham, Wa Amartha, Alahayim. Salakia. Allah, Salakia. Al Yaham, Salakia. Kaha, Amar, Adanya, Yahweh, Ayash, Ayash Mabayat, Salakia Mabayath, Yashar Allah, Ashar, Ya Alha, Ath, Galwa, Sluggy, Galawalya wa, Al, Labawa, Wamakash, Wal, I won, Sluggy, I won wa, Yeshayam, Nakak, Panya wa, Waba'a, Al, Hanabya, Anya, Yahweh, Na'ai, Sluggy, Na'ain Yathya, Lawa, Ba'a, it's like a Barab, Galawalyum, it's like Galawalya, Galawalwa, Salaki, verse 5. Lama'ain, Thapash, Ath, Bayath, Yashar Allah, Balabam, Ashar, Nazarwa, Ma'alya, Bagalawalya, Yaham, Kalam, verse 6. Lakan, Amar, Al, Bayath, Yashar Allah, Kaha, Amar, Adanya, Yahweh, Shawabya, it's like a Shawabwa, Wahashayabwa, Ma'al, Galawal Yakam, Wama'al, Call, Thawa I Bath Yakam, Hashayabwa, Panyakam, verse 7, Kaya, Ayash, Mabayath, Yashar Allah, Wa Mahagar, Ashar, Yagawar, Ba Yashar Allah, Wa Yanazar, Ma'akarya, Wa Ya'al, Galawal Yawa, Al, Labwa, Wamakash, Wamakashawa, I won wa, Yeshayam, Nakak, Panyawa, Waba'a, Al, Hanabya, Ladarash, Lawa, Baya, Anya, Yahweh, Na'ina, Lawa, Baya. All right, so those verses 1 through 7. Now we'll read those in the English. All right.
It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 14, verse 1.
Let's just understand something about Ezekiel first. Ezekiel, of course, he's a prophet. Of course, we all know that. Ezekiel was in the Babylonian captivity. He was under the Babylonian captivity. And we all understand that America is called spiritually Babylon, right? This place is called Mystery Babylon. This place is This place is the spitting image of Babylon. So what Ezekiel is talking about is happening in Babylon is the same thing you'll find in America, right? Go ahead and read from the first verse.
Verse 1. Then came certain of the elders of Israel unto me, and sat before me.
Mm-hmm.
And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, these men have set up their idols in their heart.
They've done what?
Set up their idols in their heart.
Listen, man. Okay, read it from the top again. Let's break it all the way on down, right?
Verse 1. Then came certain of the elders of Israel unto me.
Yeah, so now, go ahead, keep going.
And sat before me.
So now, this is Ezekiel speaking, right? Ezekiel is a known prophet. Everybody knew that he was a prophet of God. Everybody knew that Ezekiel had the word of God in his mouth. Everybody understood that. And so the elders of Israel, meaning the people that were well respected. Now, the elders of Israel doesn't always have to be righteous brothers. I think we all understand that, right? The elders of Israel today that so many people would call the so-called elders of Israel, a lot of them brothers is off, man. They off and they not, they're not in the truth. You know what I'm saying? And so those same elders came to Ezekiel. Go ahead.
And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, these men.
Which men?
Son of man. These men.
Which men?
These men.
These men, the same men that came to sit down in front of him, the so-called elders of Israel, the people that are supposed to be the watchmen over Israel. These men have done what?
Set up their idols in their heart.
They set up their idols in their heart. They might say that they're, Israelites. Maybe they don't say they're Israelites. Regardless, these are the esteemed people of blacks and Hispanics, right? These are the people that we look up to. And these people have set up idols in their heart. They set up idols in their heart. Why does every Christian church celebrate Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving too, but Christmas, New Year's. Why does every Christian church celebrate those holidays? Because they have set up idols in their heart, and they're the ones that we have to look up to. They're the ones with all the power. Don't Jesse Jackson got all the power? Don't Reverend Al Sharpton got the power? If they wanted to, they could start a movement that could literally overthrow the white man. They could. They got that much pull. And they're smart enough to do it, but they're not going to do it because they have idols set up in their heart. And that's why every Christian is celebrating Thanksgiving. God damn, I don't know why I got Thanksgiving. I hate that holiday too, right? That's why every Christian is celebrating New Year's. That's why today is the New Year for Christians. Today is not my New Year. My year doesn't start in the dead of winter. It doesn't. You get what I'm saying? But every Christian's New Year starts when the white man tells him it starts. And the white man told him it started on January 1st, right? Started today. But that's just simply not true. But your oppressor is who you serve. You don't serve the Most High, because if you serve the Most High, you wouldn't serve this fake New Year that they got, right? You would serve the actual New Year, which this year would be April the 1st. That would be the New Year. And it changes every, we go by the lunar calendar. So, the Gregorian calendar is not always, what you want to go by, right? But point being is, we months away from the New Year, but niggas is celebrating it today. Why? Because the Christian pastor told them, New Year, new me. That's what the Christian pastors be talking about. Don't they say that? If you ever been to a Christian church, they're going to tell you this new year that's coming up, you're going to be the best you. That's what they tell you. And I don't understand what's the difference between being sloppy drunk on December 31st at midnight and going into January the 1st. I don't understand. You're going to wake up with a hangover. That's the new you, I guess. The new you is hungover. The new you needs some water. It's dehydrated. That's the new you, right? That's what we got to step away from that. And the Most High is talking about these cats, man. The Most High is talking about these cats, telling you that these men have set up idols in their heart. Meaning not just that these guys are, it's not that these guys are putting up statues. These guys aren't putting up statues, but they have idols in their heart because what are they doing? What are they doing today? They celebrating the same holidays that their oppressor told them to celebrate, right? Let's keep going.
And put the stumbling block of their iniquity before their face.
So what's a stumbling block? A stumbling block is it's okay to eat pork. A stumbling block is the law is done away with. A stumbling block is, anything that's gonna get you off track. What does it mean to stumble? It means to trip and fall over something, right? That's what it means to stumble. Or, a lot of drunk people stumble too. You ever seen somebody real drunk and they stumbling all across the, that's stumbling too. And these cats is absolutely drunk with doctrine. And they're gonna make you drunk with doctrine too. Because what they're gonna do is they're gonna make you believe that the new year is in the dead of winter, and they're gonna have you celebrate it. They're gonna have you celebrate it, they're gonna have you, and it's a whole ritual. They're gonna have you pop off fireworks. My kids was complaining about it yesterday. They was complaining, it was like, oh man, it's that New Year thing, ain't it? They're gonna have fireworks at midnight waking me up. And sure enough, did y'all wake up because of the fireworks? Woke the hell up because of them goddamn fireworks last night. Because they go ahead. You said what? It's for 3:00 in the goddamn morning. You can't sleep because there's fireworks going off and there's dogs barking. And I don't know if it was my neighbor or who, but somebody had some loud fireworks. It was ridiculous. It sounded like somebody was next door shooting a 45 millimeter. You know what I'm saying? That's what it sounded like. Not a 45 millimeter. What the hell am I talking about? 45 caliber. The hell am I talking about? 45 millimeter. God, that's a bazooka. That's a lot. But anyway, that's a lot. Point being, right? Point being is, it's ridiculous, right? All of these rituals that these people have is ridiculous, but they teach you to celebrate these things, and that's just what they're going to do. That's exactly what they're going to do. Why? Because they have set a stumbling block before their own eyes. Keep going.
Should I be inquired of at all by them?
Mm-hmm.
Therefore speak unto them and say unto them, thus saith the Lord God.
So now the Most High is going to speak to them because he's asking a good question. He's asking an absolutely good question. He says, should I be inquired at all by them? Meaning, when these people come to these churches or, come out and they praying to the Most High and, asking for more money. Really, that's what they ask for, isn't it? Right? Asking for blessings, right? Should they inquire? Should the Most High be inquired of them at all? Absolutely not. It's a goddamn rhetorical question. That's why the Most High is saying this like this, right? Should I be inquired should I be inquired of at all by them? Absolutely not, right? The Most High look like serving you because the Most High serves us too. Y'all know that, right? Whenever He gives you something that you need, He's serving you, and that should go to just a side note. That should go to show you the way that being a servant in the Most High works, right? You serve the Most High, so He can serve you, so He can give you what you need, right? If you don't celebrate New Year's, if you don't celebrate Christmas, the Most High will not kill you. Ain't that a good thing? Ain't that reciprocal? That's a good thing right there. If you don't do this, the Most High won't kill you. I mean, that's a pretty good thing, I think, right? Keep going. So this is what the Most High is saying to these cats because they have, done these things, because they've set a stumbling block, not only before their own eyes. They set a stumbling block before their own eyes, but then they set it before us too when they get up on that goddamn pulpit, right? Keep going.
Every man of the house of Israel that setteth up his idols in his heart and putteth the stumbling block of his iniquity before his face and cometh to the prophet, I, the Lord, will answer him that cometh according to the multitude of his idols.
So how is the Most High going to answer you? He's going to answer you according to the multitude of your idols. That's how He's going to answer you. And when the Most High says answer, it's not talking about answer a question. He's talking about action. He's talking about what He's going to do to you is going to be based off of the amount of idols that you decided to serve. Let's get to so who's the idol for today? Why is today such a big deal? Why is January 1st such a big goddamn deal? I'll explain, right? And this is common. Not everybody. I mean, it's crazy. I said this last week. I say it until I die. It's ridiculous that people don't look these things up. You could just look up the origin of New Year, the so-called New Year. Why is New Year January 1st? You can look that up and you can find what I found. I went and did that. It's right here. I don't know if y'all can see it on there, but y'all can see it. GreekMythology.com. It's literally the second search result that comes up. If you look up what is the origin of New Year, and what if you look up why is the New Year January 1st, this website will come up. GreekMythology.com. It's about Greek mythology. I think we all understand that, right? That's where the New Year comes from. It comes from Greek mythology, and we're going to find out that the idol that everybody is worshiping today is the so-called Roman god Janus. That's what it is, Janus. Some old white man That's who Janus is. So, you worshiping the white, just like you worship the white man in America today, in every way possible. You also worshiping some dead, white guy, right? And so we're gonna read this. Just if you could, you could just start from the top.
Janus was the god of beginnings and transitions.
So go ahead.
In Roman mythology.
In what?
Roman mythology.
In Roman mythology, Janus was the god of beginnings and transitions. Now, why in the hell? This explains it. I don't know why I'm asking the question. It's now rhetorical, just like the Most High be speaking, right? Why in the hell do you say new year, new me? It's a new year. It's a new beginning. I got fresh beginning. What the hell is it? What the hell is different between between December and January? Not a goddamn thing. Nothing. You was a bitch and a slut in December. You was a bitch and a slut in January. You're gonna be one until next January, and the January after that, until you start coming to these classes. You get what I'm saying? You was a homosexual in December. You're gonna be a homosexual in January. You was a drug dealer and a drug abuser in December. You're gonna be one in January too. Ain't no new year. You know what you're gonna do? You know what people actually do? This is the thing that people actually do for their new year. What do you call it? Resolutions. They gonna get that goddamn gym membership. They gonna get it. They gonna say, I gotta get slimmed down. I'm a fat piece of garbage, and I gotta slim down. That's what they're gonna do. And so they're gonna buy a gym membership to go to LA Fitness, or one of these other places, right? And they're gonna go for a week. They're gonna go for they're gonna say, okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I gotta go to the gym after work. That's what they're gonna tell themselves. And they're gonna do that for the first week. And then the next week they'll go Monday. And then they'll be like, Wednesday I can skip. Friday I can skip. And then they're gonna waste their goddamn money because they're not gonna go. They're not gonna go because there's no such thing as change outside of the truth. You know what you have? You have impulse. That's what you have outside of the truth. And you buying that gym membership for your New Year resolution, that's impulse. Because you're gonna get that gym membership and you're gonna do it for a week or two, maybe even a month, but then you're gonna stop going. And y'all know this, like Officer Rhyme said it best. Y'all should make sure that y'all prepare for the so-called New Year's rush in the gym, because he does the Iron Sapien fitness thing, right? So he's in the gym all of the time, and every year, January, that gym gets filled up with people. Come February, it starts to dwindle down. Nobody's coming anymore. You get what I'm saying? Because that's what people go based off of, and that's the God that you serve. You serve Janus because Janus is the God of transitions or new beginnings. That's what you're serving. And in all actuality, it's not a new beginning. The only new beginning that you can find, is when you kill that old man and you become a new man or a new woman. That's the only new beginning that you can find. And you can only do that once, right? You can only do that once, only one time. And when you come in here and you come to these classes and you get that oil poured on your head, that's when you become a new man, a new woman, right? But you can't do it in the gym. Can't do it with a gym membership, because if that was the case, if New Year's resolution worked and your New Year's resolution is going to that gym, if that really worked, you would stay in the gym forever, right? But you only go for a couple of weeks, and then then it dies down, and your zeal of the new year, your zeal for serving Janus dies down, because it's not, it's the impulse is gone now, right? Let's keep reading that up.
And presided over passages, doors, gates, and endings, as well as in transitional periods, such as from war to peace.
Right. So the transitional periods that this is talking about, says such as from war to peace, right? Or the way that the white man has put it into the Gregorian calendar is transition from one year to the next. And we're gonna see exactly. If you could just let me see. You go ahead, Sly.
That war to peace, man. I mean, so many people think that, our people think that, it's a new year, new beginning, right? New year, new blessings, right? And it's like, and that's really because your pastor's telling you that.
Right. That's exactly, yeah.
But, they think that, and then they still don't understand that, our children still locked up in cages. So all these holidays make you forget about your expression. All these holidays, these around this season, you forget who you are.
Right.
A black man in America. You forget your poverty. You forget all that because you're so focused on getting gifts. You're so focused on that jolly spirit.
That's that gift that destroyed that heart. Yep.
That gift that destroys the heart. All that gifts that are going to destroy your heart. It's just you just blind. That's all it really is. Our brothers and sisters in the world, they're really blind to really what what they're getting themselves into, thinking
Right.
that they're gonna go into peace in this new year. This new year is gonna bring a lot of peace. But look at what happened in 2000, I believe 19. Everybody was scared because they thought the Third World War was gonna come.
Gone.
Right? And it's like, and then 2020, I think that whole COVID-19 started. And then it was like it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse, and it is going to keep getting worse until Yahushua comes.
Right. Damn right. And that's the beautiful thing about what we understand, right? Because we understand 2022 is going to be a terrible year. Like, listen, we literally prophesied a virus that comes from Asia. We prophesied that the brothers in Philly made a movie. It never got published, right? But they made a movie about a deadly disease that comes from that came from China, right? That caused some terrible plague. They made that back in 2016, and then here we go. A couple years after that, you got this goddamn coronavirus killing everything and everybody. You get what I'm saying? And we understood that thing was going to happen, and nobody else did. Everybody thought, everybody posted 2019. Everybody posted, man, 2020 is going to be my year, man. That's what they said. 2020, and then 2020 came around, and goddamn, I mean, then they started dying. Their grandma was dying. Their friends was dying. Their aunties and uncles and mothers and fathers was dying from this goddamn disease that we prophesied, right? And so then 2020 was definitely not their year. And then they said, okay, we're going to fight this thing, man. We're going to overcome it. And 2021 is going to be my year. And then here you come, 2021, more deaths. You get what I'm saying? More disease, Omicron variant, Delta variant, and the Omicron variant happened in 2021. You get what I'm saying? More death, more disease. Now here's some stupid nigga come here talking about 2022 is going to be my year. Nigga, didn't you learn from the past couple of years? Ain't no year your year. None of these years are your year, man. You're dying every year. Every year, you and your people are dying from whatever the hell the Most High decides to send towards you. You should just start to realize that. You start to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I'm dumb as hell for thinking that this would be my year. I should just, you know what I should do? I should get an ISUPK because these niggas been talking about that. They've been talking about everything that was going to happen before it happened, and they're not affected by any of these things. You'll see us dying in here. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because we know these things are going to happen, man. We understand these things are going to happen, and we have to stay. The Most High needs us here to keep telling simple Negroes, right? Simple ass Negroes that these things are going to happen, so that that way they can come into the truth, so that they can come into the truth and be saved from these things, just like Ezekiel did. Ezekiel did the same thing. Ezekiel kept trying to prophesy and tell people that the Most High is going to hurt these, hurt this land, hurt these people. And what happened? Did they listen to him? No, they didn't listen to him. What we reading right now, this was written 3,000 years ago. What we reading in the book of Ezekiel was written 3,000 years ago, and those people back then didn't listen, and nobody now is listening. Who's listening to this now? You get what I'm saying? When we go out on the street corners and we speak the words of Ezekiel, we read Ezekiel 35 all the time, don't we? Right. The 35th chapter of Ezekiel is an excellent camp speaking scripture, and we read it all the time, and nobody listens to it. When we say that the white man hates us perpetually, we say that thing out loud, and our people, they say, no, he doesn't. He loves us. He's my friend. And so the same way that you look at that scripture is the same way that you look at Ezekiel the 14th chapter. And the same way that you listen to us tell you that you're serving Janus on the so-called New Year, it's the same way you're not going to listen to that. You're not going to listen to none of these scriptures. Let's read. Let's keep reading though.
As a god of Janus' role as a god of beginnings and transitions, both in literal and abstract ways, he was also responsible for motion, changes, and time.
So motion, changes, and time. That's why they made January the first, month of the year, because that was the transition into the new year. And of course, it said and time, right? That's how they began to, to mark their time, right? That's why January is the first month of the year, right? Keep going.
He was present in the beginning of the world, guarding the gates of heaven. And he also presided over the creation of religion, life, and even the gods.
So listen, Janus is the Most High to these Romans. To these Romans, Janus is the Most High. He was over creating religion, the creation of life itself, the creation of human beings. Y'all thought Zeus was the biggest Greek god or Roman god. No, this is the biggest god of all time for the Greeks and Romans. This is I mean, it's their most high, right? Keep going.
He was probably considered the most important Roman god, and his name was the first to be mentioned in prayers.
And his name was the first to be mentioned in prayers. You know, like, and that should just show you, right? Because this is a Greek god, a Roman god, right? That should just show you that we nothing like these people. We nothing like these people, because what they do is they take their god and they say this is the crazy thing about Greek culture, right? And Roman culture, they pretty much, you know, it's Greco-Roman, it's pretty much, you know, one and the same, right? What they've done is they've taken everything that they've observed. So they observed the Israelites. They saw that we worship one God, and they saw what our God did for us. And our God is the only true God. And the funny thing about it is they know it, because even what does that say right there in the title right there? Myths. They know, these people know. Even now, you might say it's 2021 or 2022, right? They might just be saying that because this is something that happened in the past. No, those people of old time that came up with these gods came up with these gods. They created them. They knew that these gods were so-called mythos. Mythos is a Greek word for myth. That's what they knew. They knew that these gods were fake, but they worshiped them because they thought there was, you know, some sort of power in their mind of, you know, worshiping them. But they looked at all of the other people that were around them, and they saw how everybody else, the Canaanites had their own god. The Moabites, the so-called Chinese, they had their own god called Dagon, right? It was a fish god, right? Everybody had their own gods. So they went and they said, you know what? We're going to make a god for everything. They made Janus. Janus is the god of, I mean, pretty much everything, right? But the god of time, transitions, right? Change, that type of thing. And then they also made Poseidon, which is a god of the waters and the seas. They made Zeus, which is the god of the skies and the god of lightning. They made the Hades, which is the god of these so-called underworld, right? Go ahead.
Zeus is also the god of all the Olympian gods.
Yeah, Zeus is the god of all the Olympian gods. And then there's the Olympian gods, and then you got them. You get what I'm saying? There's hundreds of gods that they've created, right? And so point being is, what they've done is they've compiled a big, you know, catalog of gods that they get to choose from for any given thing, right? And that's what they've done, right? And this Janus is one of them. This Janus is probably, like it says, probably the most important god to them. And that's the god that you serve on New Year, right? Keep going. Let's matter of fact, let me see. That's all we need on that. I'm gonna show y'all something, right? Now I'm gonna show. Now, of course, now we understand, right, that Janus is the god of transitions and really the god of this New Year, right? Now we're gonna understand why we celebrate the New Year, so-called New Year, on January the 1st, and this comes from the Britannica. This comes straight from the Britannica. You can just start from the top.
In many countries, the New Year begins on January 1st. Mm-hmm. However, this wasn't always the case.
Right. It wasn't always January 1st, the dead of winter, that everybody celebrated the New Year, right? Keep going.
In fact, for centuries, other dates marked the start of the calendar, including March 25th and December 25th.
Right. So March 25th is closer to the New Year, right? Because we all understand that's around the time that spring starts. The first day of spring is the New Year. That's when the New Year begins. Why? Because that's when life starts, right? What I mean by that is this. In winter, all of the trees die. That's what happens. Fall, well, really in fall, all of the trees start to die too. But in winter, all of the trees die. You go around this entire earth. When it's wintertime, the trees start to die, meaning it's just sticks, it's branches. The leaves then fell off of them because those trees are dying. And that happens all winter. And then spring comes around. And now those trees start to grow back. Those leaves start to grow back on those branches, because that's the beginning of life in that cycle, right? And so that's when the New Year is. The New Year is springtime, right? Not the dead of winter. But keep going.
So how did January 1st become New Year's Day?
So let's find out. Britannica is going to tell you, if you don't want to listen to me, if you don't want to listen to the ISUPK, then just listen to Britannica, a very credited source, right? Go ahead.
We can partly thank the Roman king Numa Pompilus.
Numa Pompilus was a Roman king, and he was a very, very powerful king, right? You read about him in all manner of history books because he was a powerful king. And go ahead.
Numa Pompilius, excuse me. According to tradition, during his reign, 715 through 637 before the Common Era, Numa revised the Roman Republican calendar so that January replaced March as the first month.
So now let's understand this first before we keep going. March used to be the beginning of the year for the Romans, which makes perfect sense, right? Like I just said, spring is the new year, so it makes sense, right? What does new mean, right? New means it's beginning, it's the start of something, and spring is the beginning of life. That's when, like I said, when the trees start to grow back and all of those things, right? So they had it right at one point. I don't want to say all the way right, of course, but they had it somewhat right. But then this Roman king decided he was going to change the new year from March, which I believe their new year was March 25th, and they've changed it from that to January 1st. But let's see why. Go ahead.
It was a fitting choice, since January was named after Janus, the Roman god of all beginnings. March celebrated Mars, the god of war. Some sources claim that Numa also created the month of January.
So now, this Roman king decided that he was going to change the new year from March to January because January was fitting for a new year because it was the god of new beginnings and transitions. That's why January. That's where you get your January 1st New Year from. That's where you get it from this guy right here. That was the first recorded, shift in the new year from this guy right here. I'm gonna show you something else, right? Give me let's see. Let's start. Okay, let's get in 46 BCE.
In 46 BCE, Julius Caesar introduced more changes.
So now this is the calendar consistently changes for these heathens, right? Julius Caesar was a Roman. He was a Roman emperor, a Roman king, whatever you want to call him, right? And the first Roman king changed the new year to January 1st and was messing with the calendar and all of those things. Now you got another heathen, and he's messing with the calendar some more 700 years later, right? Go ahead.
Though the Julian calendar, as it became known, retained January 1st as the year's opening date. With the expansion of the Roman Empire, the use of the Julian calendar also spread.
Go ahead.
Slug. However, following the fall of Rome in the 5th century Common Era, many Christian countries altered the calendar so that it was more reflective of their religion.
But so now this, when he keeps reading, y'all gonna be like, God damn, these Christians they just bend and fold to everything, because now you have Julius Caesar's calendar, which retained January 1st because they're going to reverence their gods. That's what they're going to do, and you're not going to get them to stop. You're not going to get them to stop reverencing Janus and reverencing Nimrod and reverencing, even like I said, the days of the week are named after Greek gods. You know what I'm saying? The months of the year are named after gods. It's that simple. The solar system, the planet Uranus, or Uranus, whatever the hell y'all want to call it, that's a Greek god. Saturn, Greek god. All of these planets are Greek gods. Everything, because that's their culture, and they rule the entire earth. So they get to name planets after their gods, and months and days and years after their gods, right? And then but Christians aren't supposed to be pagan, right? If you say you're a follower of Christ, that's what the term Christian means, right? It's supposed to mean a follower of Christ. But if you say you're a follower of Christ, then you wouldn't have nothing to do with that, right? You wouldn't have nothing to do with no January, no Janus. You wouldn't have nothing to do with that. No New Year. You wouldn't have nothing to do with that. But the Christians did what?
Altered the calendar so that it was more reflective of their religion.
So now they altered the calendar. So it sounds like it's on a good path, right? It sounds like they're trying to stray away from Janus and stray away from all of these Greek gods, right? Keep going.
In March 25th, the feast of Annunciation.
That's an old Protestant feast that they used to have. They don't keep that no more, but keep going.
and December 25th, Christmas.
So you would think that when they altered the goddamn calendar, hey, let's not celebrate Christmas, because the Romans celebrated Christmas. They celebrated Christmas in Saturnalia. So you would think, being a so-called Christian, that they would follow Christ and they wouldn't serve those gods and they wouldn't serve Christmas. But they kept Christmas. And when they altered the calendar, did they remove the New Year from being January 1st? No, they didn't. They didn't. Right? There's something else on here I wanted to, let me see. Okay, let's get. Mm-hmm.
Who came up with the idea to serve a god that they created?
I mean, the scriptures say that the nations did. Like, what you got to understand is the idol worship. It starts from being selfish. Like, that's all the idol worship is. Like, most people understand that idol really isn't anything. Most people that worship idols know that it's all in their head. Like, even when, think about this, right? Even when, I always go back to this, when we came out of Egypt and we all begged Aaron for to make a god, because Moses was up on Mount Sinai dealing with the Most High, and he was up there for a long time. I believe 40 days, right? He was up there for a long time, so they getting tired of waiting. They begged Aaron, make us a god, and they made this god, fashioned it out of their gold from their necklaces and their earrings, and they created a golden calf, and they said out of their own mouths, this is the God that delivered us up out of Egypt. The thing that they just created. Right? But do you know why they created a golden calf? Who could tell me why they created a golden calf?
Because they didn't believe in God.
That's true, but that's not what I mean. I mean, why did they create a golden calf? Specifically a golden calf? Because one of the Egyptian gods was a golden calf. So what do we learn from?
Heathens.
We learned it from the heathens. So the nations came up with these idols because they didn't have a god. Like, we had a God. Abraham knew that he had a God. Noah knew that he had a God, right? A real one, not one that he made, a God that spoke to him without him having to touch anything, without him having to craft to create anything, right? But all the other nations didn't have that because the Most High wasn't dealing with them. So they had to create golden gods and golden calves. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it came from. And that's where we got it from. And now that's because we serve, like, that's of course the same thing that's happening today, right? We serve Janus, not because we came up with Janus, but because the Romans came up with it. And now the Americans do the same thing, serve Janus still. And so what do? We want to be like them. So what do? We serve Janus. So that's where it comes from. Let me see. I'll just read this because it's real quick. It says, over time, non-Christian countries also began to use the Gregorian calendar. That's the calendar that we use today in America. In America, we use the Gregorian calendar, where you get your January 1st, your February, March, April, May. I don't know what comes after that. June, I think. I don't know. But point being is, that's this calendar, and that's where you have the leap year. Y'all know about the leap year? I think it's every 4 years? Every 4 years you have a leap year, right? Because it's, for one, it's ridiculous. You don't need a leap year with the lunar Sabbath. With the lunar what you call it?
Eclipse.
No, you don't need yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. You don't need a leap year with the lunar calendar, right? Because the lunar calendar is perfect. When you calculate days by the moon, which is what Israelite custom is, then you start to understand that this is the way that it was always meant to be. The heathens use the sun to calculate, right? These days and these years. Good.
Okay, then now I know we're supposed to be using the moon as a Sabbath, so every Sabbath is different. Why do we use this every Saturday for the Sabbath?
No, we don't use the moon for the Sabbath, okay. Right? So the Bible says that we are to work 6 days, and then on the seventh day we rest, right? So every 7 days we rest. It's a recurring cycle. So the fake Israelites, they use the lunar Sabbath, right? That say that the Sabbath is based off of the moon. Their Sabbath changes every week, which means they're not resting every 7 days. They're resting every 6 or 8 days. You get what I'm saying? So that's why we don't go based off of that, because the Most High told us to rest every 7 days. You work 6 days and then you rest on the 7th, right?
So that's why we don't go. What I'm trying to say is, okay, now when everything goes and we don't have no calendar, no anything, what do we go by? We supposed to go by the moon, right? The whole moon, the half moon, to create our Sabbath, to get our Sabbath day. That's what I'm confused at.
Not necessarily, right? Because here's what you want to know about the moon, right? Sometimes in the moon, when you go by the moon for for looking at months, right? That's what you go by the moon for. You go by the moon for months, not by weeks. The Sabbath is every week, right? So what you want to go by is a revolution of 7 days. That's all the Sabbath is. Like these fake Israelites that celebrate the so-called Lunar Sabbath, they're not going by a revolution of 7 days like the Most High said. They're going by the moon. And so what ends up happening is this week they might celebrate the Sabbath on Tuesday, but then next week they might celebrate the Sabbath on Wednesday. So what ends up happening with that? How many days did they work, and on what day did they rest?
6 days.
From Tuesday to Wednesday.
3 days.
No, well, I'm saying Tuesday to the next Wednesday. They would have worked 7 days and rested on the 8th day.
Okay, yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
But so for us, we celebrated every Saturday, right? Because that's the 7th day. That's the day that we stick to right now. That's the day that we stick to, because every 7 days will be Saturday. That's the only way that we can know what the 7th day is, right? Otherwise, you get these fake Israelites that come up with their own doctrine and they create the 7th day for themselves. That's what they do, right?
Yeah.
So what we do is we go by what we know. We know Saturday is the 7th day of the week. That's what we're gonna do, right? So that's why we don't do the lunar Sabbath, because the lunar Sabbath is off, and when you go into the scriptures, you can't you can't do whatever the hell you want like that. It has to be every 7 days.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. But as far as months go, we do determine the month by the new moon. That's how we determine the month. When the moon is at the smallest sliver, that's when we determine that's a new month, right?
Okay.
Let me see. Good.
So the true calendar, if you will, the lunar calendar, doesn't have a February with 28 days.
Nah. So what you got to understand, like I said, like the moon, okay, the new moon doesn't happen every 30 days. Right. It's not like every 30 days strictly there's a new moon. Right? Sometimes it's 28, sometimes it's 29, sometimes it's 32. You get what I'm saying? Okay. So that's it's not like a strict thing like how the white man does everything. This is how the white man does everything is they do everything like to the T, meaning 7 o'clock is 7 o'clock.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Time, like the numbers.
Yeah.
Like 7, 12, or you know what I'm saying?
Like it's like
count the hours and stuff.
Like even us back when we were in the Roman captivity, we would say, oh, this is the 5th hour, but it'd be around the 5th hour. It's not 5 o'clock. You get what I'm saying? It's not 5 o'clock in the morning. It's just the 5th hour, right? And so at some point, it wasn't no 5:33. Like right now, I can look on this computer and it says 11:21 a.m. That's what I can see on the computer. There is no 11:21 a.m. Just like when the scriptures say a day with the Lord is as 1,000 years, it's not talking about a specific 1,000 years. It's talking about that kind of span of time. You get what I'm saying? Like when the scriptures also say that when Christ returns, that the war will be fought in 1 hour. It's not talking about 1 60-minute period. It's just talking about really fast, right? But the white man, the way they work is everything has to be concrete and this. We don't work like that. That's not how we work, right? So the same thing with the lunar, the lunar calendar, right? Same thing with the lunar calendar. Some days, some months might be the 28 days, some might be 30, right? It's usually around the same area, but it's not, concrete like that. But let's get the truth about it, right? Let's get Exodus, the 12th chapter. So let's find out really, what calendar we're supposed to be on, what time we're supposed to be on, right? Let's get Exodus the 12th chapter. We'll start at verse 1. It's all good.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt.
Where?
In the land of Egypt.
So let's just understand this. This was before we made our exodus out of the land of Egypt, out of that captivity. This was when the Lord, was about to kill the firstborn of all of the Egyptians. This is right before the first Passover ever. And the Most High is speaking to Moses and Aaron. Go ahead.
Saying, this month.
Which month?
This month.
So now this month, go ahead.
Shall be unto you the beginning of months.
The what?
The beginning of months.
The beginning of months. So the month that they're in shall be the beginning of months, meaning this is the beginning of years. This is the beginning of a year, right? This month here. Keep going.
It shall be the first month of the year to you.
So it shall be the first month of the year to you, right? This year where we celebrate this month where we celebrate the Passover. Give me the next chapter, 13 and 4.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 13, verse 4. This day came ye out in the month Abib.
In the month what?
Abib.
Right. In the Hebrew, that's Abayab, right? This day came ye out in the month Abib, or Abib, however you want to say it. In the Hebrew, it's Abayab, right? That is the first month of the year. That's the month where we celebrate Passover. Now, this year, right? Passover will be April 15th, right? But April 15th is what the white man calls it. In our calendar, we would call it the 14th day of the month Abib. That's the 14th day of the month Abib, right? That's the first month of the year, right? Take me back to Ezekiel. So just to show, I didn't want to take too much time on that. I got to kind of rush through it. So lucky, I know I went over a little bit because I know I got another 7 verses to get into. But that's the difference, right? So we just went into the Britannica and we saw how the white man had constructed his months and his years, right? And now today, here we are in America, and we follow the Gregorian calendar, your January, February, March, all of those things with the leap year and all of that, right? But from the beginning, when the Most High first gave us and established a calendar for us, the first month of the year was the month Abayab, which is, around March or April on the Gregorian calendar, right? So that goes to show you that these heathen, they've done everything to go backwards from the Most High and to go forward toward their God. And in us being in this land, right, serving under these heathens, they have caused us to go backward from our God and go forward to their God. So now last night, what do you think them fireworks is for? Them fireworks started, that's matter of fact, I should have pulled that up. I might pull it up before class ends, but the fireworks on New Year's it's a dedication to Janus. When you light a firework on New Year's Eve, you're dedicating that fire and that light to Janus.
The Chinese people also, Mobites, they get that. What they do is they light fireworks to scare the spirits, in order to, basically any evil spirits, so they won't come towards them or anything like that. Like
right.
Basically to scare them. That's what those fireworks are for. So I'm pretty sure, I'm guessing, it's never mind. But
no, I get exactly where you're coming from. But yeah, that's true too, right? The Chinese, they have their own rituals to for them fireworks. They use those things to scare off evil demons, whatever the hell they the demons. I don't know what they're talking about. They the one kill everybody this last couple of years. Ain't they the one that brought this coronavirus? Right. They the demon. Get rid of them. I need to scare some more bites off with some fireworks. Where they at? It's a lucky. But point being, right, is when you popped them fireworks off last night, you was offering to a God. That's what you were doing. Right. But you don't know that. But it's so easy to these 2 articles that I got. One is from GreekMythology.com. One is from the Britannica. When you search these things up, what is the origin of New Year's Day, or what is the origin, or why is January 1st the so-called New Year? If you look that up, you'll get both of these articles. Like, this isn't some deep research I had to do like the brothers back in the 80s and the 90s had to do. The brothers in the 80s and the 90s had to go into the library and find these things out. You know what I'm saying? But I could now, today it's 2022. I could just go on my phone. You can go on your computer, your tablet, whatever you got, and you can go and look this thing up real quick. And you can realize, damn, I'm serving a God when I serve these things. I'm serving a false God, an idol, when I do these things. You could do that. Or you could do exactly what the white man wants you to do and never research anything and never understand why you celebrate Christmas, why you put a gift under a tree, which makes no goddamn sense, why you pop fireworks on the so-called New Year. You'll never understand any of those things. And the white man doesn't want you to. He wants you to just consistently do what he tells you to do without asking. Isn't that what that's a good slave master to me? It's a really good slave master. Good slave master gonna tell you, do what I say and don't ask any questions about it. When I have slaves in the kingdom, that's what I want. I want them to do whatever I want them to go and plow that field. I want them to do that and don't ask me why. That's what I want. So the white man, being the cruel ruler that he is, he's doing the same thing. Celebrate New Year, celebrate Thanksgiving, celebrate Christmas, celebrate all of these things, Valentine's Day. Don't ask why. Don't ask why. Don't ask why the heart for Valentine's Day is shaped like that. That doesn't look like a heart. You know, a heart is a blood pump. That thing don't look like that. Don't ask why. Right? Just do it. That's what our oppressor has called us to do. And us as sheep that have gone forth towards the slaughter, we just do it. Right? Because we're dumb as hell. Give me verse 5 in Ezekiel 14.
Okay. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 14, verse 5. That I may take the house of Israel in their own heart, because they are all estranged from me through their idols.
We are estranged from the Most High through our idols. What does it mean to be estranged from the Most High? It means that we don't know God. We don't know the Most High. Why? Because of the idols. New Year's stops you from understanding and knowing the Most High. Because what does 1 John the 2nd chapter say? What does it say?
Love the Lord your God with all your.
Nope, that's not what I want. First, you ain't got to get it. 1 John the 2nd chapter tells you, if you say you know God, but you don't keep his commandments, you're a liar. So the only way that you can know the Most High is if you keep his commandments. Didn't the Most High tell us in Exodus the 20th chapter not to have any gods before him? But then here you are on, I keep saying Thanksgiving. I hate that holiday, man. That's why I'm saying it like that. Right. But here you are on New Year's celebrating the God Janus. You are putting a God in front of the Most High. So how can you love God or know God if you're doing these things? You can't. And so that's how we have become estranged from the Most High, right? Through our idols. That's what we've done. But keep going.
Verse 6. Therefore say unto the house of Israel, thus saith the Lord God.
So this is what the Most High is telling Ezekiel to do. 3,500 years. No, I think it's about 3,500 years ago, right? Telling Ezekiel to say what?
Repent and turn yourselves from your idols and turn away your faces from all your abominations.
Give me Isaiah the 52nd chapter. Listen, man, this is what Ezekiel said 3,500 years ago, 3,500 years ago. He said this. Did we do it? Are we not black people in America celebrating Thanksgiving and New Year's and Christmas today? Did nobody listen to Ezekiel? And when we go out there, there's one of the few that'll listen to us. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's it. Nobody listens to Ezekiel, man. Nobody listens to the prophets. Nobody does. You know what I'm saying? Ezekiel used to go out there and teach. Like, there's a scripture that talks about Ezekiel going out to camp. He went out to camp just like we go out to camp. We go and put that podium up, right? Stand on that podium with the signs and with the microphone and tell everybody what's going to happen. We tell people this right here: repent and turn yourselves away from your idols. We tell people that. Just like they didn't listen to Ezekiel, they ain't listening to us. We're going to do our job regardless. And that's what Ezekiel did. That's why there's a book about him, because he did his job regardless. He did his job so well that the Most High killed his wife. And he said, damn, that sucks, but I got to go back. I got to work. I got to go and I got to speak. Killed his wife just before. His wife had a stroke, right? Just before a camp speaking. And the Most High told him, don't even cry about it. You're not allowed to cry about it. Put your mitre on your head, put your headpiece on, and go out there and teach. And that's what he did. Ezekiel did his goddamn job, man. He did his job, and he sacrificed his life for the Most High, but not only for the Most High, but also for his people. And his people rejected him, man. Didn't give a damn about his sacrifice and what he did for them. But you know, you don't see Ezekiel crying about it, do you? You see Ezekiel doing his job, and that's it, right? And so that's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to do is to tell you that you have celebrated an abomination, which is New Year's, and you serve some white homosexual. Janus, the god Janus, is a homosexual. Any Greek god is a homosexual. That's just it's a given. That's the biggest. That's the stemma. I think that's the stemma. Well, maybe the Africans. I think they probably the stem of homosexuality. But point being, right, is you've celebrated an abomination to the Most High. But now, what you must do, and this is what we have to tell you, right? Is the same thing Ezekiel told you 3,500 years ago. Repent and turn yourselves from your idols and turn away your faces from all your abominations. Give me Isaiah 52. Just start at the first verse.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 52, verse 1. Awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion.
Now, let's stop right there. Let's separate this thing so we can really break it down. This is Isaiah. This is another great and excellent prophet. Isaiah said, awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion. Who's Zion? Zion is Jerusalem, which would be Israel. That's what this is talking about, right? This is Isaiah speaking to Israel, saying, awake. What does it mean to awake? It means you have to be sleeping. You're sleeping, so you got to wake the hell up. What do people say nowadays? They said when they say, "Oh man, y'all sleep." Yeah, y'all sleep. Y'all gotta wake up. Y'all gotta be woke. That's what they say, right? Well, Isaiah was saying the same thing. That's nigga language for you, man. That's nigga language. Because if you sleep, like think about it. If you caught slipping or sleeping in the streets, what does that mean? It means you wasn't paying attention. Somebody can run up on you and take all of your money, right? Because you wasn't paying attention. Isaiah is telling us, awake. Wake your ass, excuse me for my language. Wake up, right? And put on your strength. What is your strength? The book of Psalms tells you that your strength is the Most High's laws. That's what we got to do. You got to wake the hell up, and you have to put on your strength to start keeping these laws. Keep going.
Put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city.
And put on your beautiful garments, right? Get back to your culture. Like, niggas don't be rocking these, man. I don't know where. Listen, hit up Captain Capage for one of these, man. You know what I'm saying? Hit up the Sister Mariah. Like, we make these garments in here, and they are absolutely glorious and beautiful. But this is our culture. This is our culture. These garments down to the foot. That's what Christ wore. You got pictures. We got pictures back there, pictures over there, pictures right there of Christ wearing beautiful garments, like the sardius stone, man. Beautiful green garments. But listen, man, we haven't done that. As black people in America, you don't see brothers walking around looking glorious. What do you see? Brothers strung out high on crack cocaine. You know what I'm saying? With holes in their clothes, jammed up. Because we haven't, as a people, we haven't awakened, right? We haven't put on our strength. We were just talking about it yesterday. All of them people at that bus stop, the police them damn near left them alone. Remember, they used to come and they used to run them off of that bus stop. There'd be 30, 40 people over there. They used to come and run them people off of that bus stop. They leave them alone now. That consistency, them cats is consistent, ain't they? They come and they sit over there and they get high. Man, listen, if I could tell you the amount of pieces of tinfoil with heroin in them that I found, just in this area alone, they haven't put on their strength. They're weak because they don't have the commandments of the Most High. Let's keep reading.
For henceforth there shall no more come into thee the uncircumcised and the unclean.
So going forward, listen, we understand this. When you go into the book of Romans, when you go into the book of Thessalonians, you can see that there will be none of this is going to go on in the kingdom. There won't be no effeminate men in the kingdom, no whores in the kingdom. It's not happening. It will be impossible. It's unspoken of, unheard of, right? Because going forward, that's not going to be allowed. You're not going to be allowed to be the way that you've been in America in the kingdom. And if you think that you are sorely mistaken. And you're going to come, and you're going to come to the realization at the wrong time. Because when Christ cracked them skies open with that legion of angels, That's when you're going to come to the realization, damn, I can't be like this. I'm not allowed to be like this. And it's going to be too late. That's why the scriptures say you got to seek me early, man. You got to seek the Most High early. If you seek the Most High early before the doom that's coming to America, you'll be straight. You got to get into the UPK. You got to do that. If not, you'll be out there and you're in trouble. Listen, man. And I would hate to be you, man. And I pray that, like the scriptures say, like Paul said, I would rather that I be accursed from Christ from my brethren, my brethren, so all of Israel could be saved. Romans 11:26 says all Israel shall be saved. I want that for my people. I want all of my, I don't want no brother or sister strung out on crack high. You know what I'm saying? Overdosing on fentanyl. I don't want that for my people. Pains me to my goddamn core to hear those things about my people. Nonetheless, what can I do? I can't put a crown on somebody's head who doesn't want it. But what I can do is I can sit behind this podium, sit behind this table, go out there to camp, stand on that podium, go and hand out flyers and teach my people. That's what I can do. But besides that, I'm not going to force nobody into this truth. All I could do is tell you. It's up to you to listen. And that's what Ezekiel knew. That's what Isaiah knows right now. Isaiah is telling you, it's going to come a time when you're not going to have a choice. Right? Isn't that what he just said? For henceforth, there shall no more come into the uncircumcised and the unclean. You're not going to be able to come into this to the kingdom, unclean, right? With your whoredom and with your drug abuse and your alcoholism. You're not going to be able to do that. Keep going.
Verse 2. Shake thyself from the dust.
You got to do what?
Shake thyself from the dust.
You have to shake yourself from the dust. What does that mean? It means you laying down. Now think about this, right? Think about somebody who's laying down in the dirt, who's just been laying. That's a sad sight to see, right? Somebody who's just laying down in the dirt. What does he have to do?
Shake thyself from the dust.
Keep going.
Arise.
Arise. Get the hell up, man. Get off of your face. Right? Get up. Like that's what you got to do. You have to. Listen. No, I can teach you, and Commander General Yohana can teach you, and we can tell you everything that you need to know about keeping the law and doing what's right in the sight of the Most High. We could teach you, but it's up to you to get up. I can try to pick you up by your hand and get up and get you up. But if you don't reach out and grab my hand, I can't do nothing for you. You know what I'm saying? So you have to do the work yourself. You have to arise yourself. Keep going.
And sit down, O Jerusalem. Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck.
From the what?
The bands of thy neck.
Keep going.
O captive daughter of Zion.
O captive daughter of Zion. That's what we are. We are captives. That's what we are. But that doesn't mean that we have to act like captives. We have to loose ourselves from the bands of our neck. What's a band? Right? Bands are like handcuffs or like some sort of straight, right? That keeps you, what's the word that I'm looking for?
Iron collar.
Yeah, like the iron collar, but I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of they keep you tied up. There's a word that I'm looking for that's totally escaping me right now. But point being is, we are captives in this place. But Isaiah is telling us we have to loose those bands from our neck, because meaning our oppressor has his foot on our neck right now. That's what. Chained up. Yeah, chained up. Like that's how he. Now, people say this in the world all the time. I hate saying this, but I'm gonna say it so everybody can understand. They say the physical chains they took off of us, right? Because we're not in physical, slavery no more, right? Meaning we not, on the field working in the cotton field and in the cotton gins and the tobacco fields and the sugarcane fields and all of that. We're not in those things no more. So in the world, they say they took the physical chains off of us, but then they kept the mental chains off. I hate saying that, but it's true, right? They jammed us up for 200 years in those fields, right? 300 really, right? Because sharecropping didn't stop until 1940, right? So they kept us in those physical chains and physical servitude and bondage. And then now after that, now they have us jammed up in our mind because of Stockholm syndrome and because they've taught us to rely on them. You think food stamps is like beneficial for us? We can perceive it as that, but the reason why those things are in place, the reason why what's the housing one? Come on, y'all. The housing one, the housing for low income. Section 8. You think Section 8 is to help us? It might seem like it. That is to keep us to rely on the white man. That's all those things are. And that's what happens because the mother that is on Section 8, she's poor. And she has a daughter and a son and kids. What do you think them kids is going to grow up and buy a house? No. Them kids is going to stay relying on the white man. And so now why the hell would anybody say that our oppressor is the devil? Nobody's going to believe that the oppressor is the devil because he gives me food stamps. He gives me a Section 8. He gives me affordable living. He gives me all of these things. White man's not the devil. So when they hear us talk about the white man or talk about our oppressor, what you talking about? He's been the nicest person to me ever. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because they have strategically made black people rely on them for everything. And that's a curse in Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, ain't it? Doesn't it say that we got to go to them for hunger and for thirst and for clothing and for want of all things? Right. That's a curse. Go ahead.
And then it's all just a trap, just to give you another felon. Because if you have someone in that house on Section 8, here you are going to be turned into a criminal.
Right.
When it's something that they're giving you that you think is right, but it's really not good for you. It's really to harm you and give you another crime.
Right. Damn right. Because that's a beautiful thing. Well, I don't say it's beautiful. It's beautiful that we understand it. I say that. Right. Because that's true as hell. Even what's the one? I don't know why all of these terms are escaping me right now. What's it called?
What is it for?
It's the government assistance for welfare. Thank you. The water. I appreciate it. The water. I'm telling you, I don't know. I'm jammed up right now. So like it. Welfare though, that's a good example with the Section 8, but welfare too. Like welfare, they give to single mothers, right? And if they find a man, it doesn't have to be their husband. It's just any man in the house. If there is a man in that house, you get the welfare taken from you. And you don't get that extra $600 a month, which is life or death for some people. And so what does that teach the woman? Be independent and don't have any man ever. Because the white man's going to take care of me.
Yeah, because if they come in and they find out that that man is there, it can be even the child's father, but you can be unknown. And then once you do that, they want you to do that. So therefore now they got caught up in the system. Now you're doing weekends. Now you're away from your family because you just did welfare fraud.
Right.
It's all a setup.
Yeah.
All of it is just a setup just to bring you guys good. They give it to your hand, but then as soon as you make one mistake, they take it back and they give you a crime.
Right.
Behind it.
Yeah, damn right. That's
felony.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So then that never comes off of your record. So now you can't get a good job.
No.
You get what I'm saying? So what do you got to do? Now, what does that teach young boys that come up and see those things? Well, damn, I got to sell drugs. I got to sell drugs and do crimes and break into people's houses because I'm a criminal anyway. My mother became a criminal. My father became a criminal off of what was supposed to be normal, supposed to be fine. That you gonna say something?
I was just gonna say, it's beautiful how the scripture says, "I will make a man more precious than fine gold."
Yeah.
In the world, you'll find how it's like they're trying to criminalize, black men. Trying to make them like, the evil, right? Trying to push them away from the families and, give power to the woman to get that what's that called? I'm not
so,
you asking me.
I know, man. I'm telling y'all. Listen. Are you talking about the welfare?
No, I'm talking about
WIC? Child support. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a heavy one too.
Child support on the man, so and that oppresses the man even more to where he's in debt, and now he has to pay all that child support in prison.
Right.
And, you got to work in. They're gonna force you to work in the prison. They're gonna find a way to collect that money, and half of that is going to what? The government.
Right. And what's crazy about that? I didn't see the goddamn child support. Like a woman looks at child support like, man, a white man has saved me yet again. Because now I have a way to pull every dollar out of this man that left me because I'm a bitch. That's what they look at it as, right? And then what happens? They put that man on child support, and I done seen some of these checks. Oh my God. It's oppression. It's absolute oppression, right? I done seen some of these checks where a brother is making good dough. I'm talking about $1,000 a week, which is, that's decent money. Decent. You know what I'm saying? That's $4,000 a month. This cat walks home with $100 every week. $100 because he has 3 kids with a woman. This is a true. This is a thing I've seen. Because he has 3 kids with this bitch who wants to charge him and take him to court for child support. He comes home with $100 out of 1,000, 10% of his money. And if he in the truth, he got to pay tithes off of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, goddamn. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's it. Well, I got you in 1 second. I said that, but I want to make sure everybody understands, right? In the UPK, because we're on camera and because there's people in here, I want everybody to understand. If you're on child support, we're gonna get you off of child support. We've had it. We're not gonna listen. I said pay tithes and all of that. Yes, you got to pay your tithes. The point is, though, here we're gonna get you off of that child support. I want to make everybody to know that, right? We've done it several times. The brothers that are being oppressed by child support, them brothers pay their tithes and they get off of child support, and we go to court for them. Ain't that right? That's happened. We go to court for them and help them. Right, just so everybody understands. I don't want people to look at us like we cruel. Go ahead.
And then you got some mothers that they don't want their father to be oppressed by the white man, so they're so broken down to where they don't even want the father to be on the birth certificate because they don't want the white man to come after their children's father.
Right.
Which is sad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that abuse that they're giving the fathers, if they're not there and they have to pay, and it's a shame, but it helps the father to where they don't come after the father for his money or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
The hurdles that you got to go through to be in this empire and be normal, so-called, is ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous. And that's what we're talking about. And so, but now most people look at those things and they say, oh, this is a good thing. And that's because we've done exactly what this Bible is telling us not to do. Like, we've trusted in our oppressor far too much. So much so that we don't trust in God anymore. Nobody trusts in God. Listen, man, you trust in that stimulus check. That's what you trust. You trust in that stimulus check. And that they got one for the kid. What do you call it? What's it called? Like a child advance, something ridiculous. That's what you trust in. You trust in that. You trust that the government is going to give you that check. And that's what you trust in. You don't trust in the Most High to help you in your situations, though. You don't trust in that, right? Let's keep reading. Let's get okay. Give me verse 3. In Isaiah. Yep.
Verse 3. For thus saith the Lord, ye have sold yourselves for naught.
We sold ourselves for nothing, man. We sold ourselves for absolutely nothing. What do we get out of this, man? Think about it. Think about what we get out of this. Not a goddamn thing. Nothing. But we sold ourselves for it. Now, when you sell something, does that mean you're supposed to get something in return?
Right.
Keep going.
And ye shall be redeemed without money.
Now it's saying the same thing, but in the reverse. We shall be bought without money. How do we get bought? Let me ask y'all that question. How do we get bought? Because it's happened already.
First, we turned our back on the Most High.
No, I'm saying, how do we get bought? This is a good thing.
I'm sorry, the blood of Christ.
With Christ. Christ's death is the way that we become redeemed. The Most High sent Christ. That was Christ paying for us. Because it couldn't have happened without Christ's sacrifice. It couldn't have happened. We couldn't be here in this room without Christ's sacrifice. Because if you've ever missed the Passover, you're supposed to be put away from the children of Israel. You're supposed to be cut off. If you've ever missed the Passover, if you weren't circumcised on the 8th day, you're supposed to be put away from the children of Israel, cut off. That's what the Bible said. Listen, midgets couldn't be in here, man. If a midget come into this door, am I gonna let him in? Come on. If it's a brother, I'm letting that brother or sister in here. But in the Bible, it tells you that a midget couldn't come into the congregation. Somebody with a cleft nose. I'm just like, was a cleft lip? Somebody with a cleft lip and a flat nose couldn't come in here. That covers a lot of people. If your mother, now this is going to cover everybody. If your mother was a whore, you can't come into the congregation of Israel. That's what the Bible says. The Bible tells you if your mother was a whore, if your father abandoned you, you couldn't come into the congregation of Israel. You had to be cut off. You couldn't come to class. The only reason why any of us are allowed to be here, that includes everybody in this room, probably everybody that's watching online. None of us could be here if it wasn't for Christ. Because We have been redeemed without money. Christ didn't pay a goddamn dollar, not a penny. But he did pay his life. That's what he did pay. And he did that for a bunch of sinners and bastards and wicked, evil people. He did that for us. So now what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with that information? You going to keep doing what the hell you've been doing? You going to keep sinning? You going to keep hating God? Or are you going to love the fact, are you going to love the Most High and Christ for the fact that you're allowed to live it at all? That's what I chose to do. That's what everybody in this room chose to do. We all better do that thing. We all better choose to love the Most High and keep his commandments. Otherwise, you have something else coming for you. Let's get verse 7. It's like in verse 7 in Jeremiah.
This is the book of, said Jeremiah.
Yeah, it's like my bad. Ezekiel. Yeah.
It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 14, verse 7. For every one of the house of Israel, or of the stranger that sojourneth in Israel, which separateth himself from me, and setteth up his idols in his heart, and putteth the stumbling block of his iniquity before his face, and cometh to a prophet to inquire of him concerning me, I, the Lord, will answer him by myself.
You know what the Most High is going to do? If you decide that you're going to serve idols, really that's just serving yourself. If you're going to serve yourself, if you're going to serve New Year's, why do people celebrate New Year's? Because they're doing it for somebody else? They serving New Year's because they want to have fun. They want the fireworks. They want the New Year's party where they get drunk until they can't walk. I remember, listen, man, I've been in the world. I remember in high school going to some crazy New Year's parties. It's ridiculous. I wasn't doing that for somebody else. I wanted to go get drunk and see fireworks. That's what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? That's all I wanted to do. I remember listen, I'm gonna put some nostalgia in some people's hearts now. I'm gonna test y'all. I remember sitting on the roof of my house when I was younger. I was real young. Sitting on the roof of my house with my family all around me, and we would just sit and watch those fireworks, and it was magical. Was I doing that for anybody else besides myself? I was doing it for me. I didn't get up on that roof for nobody else. Nobody told me to. They said, you want to come up? I said, hell yeah. I want to come up there and see the fireworks. That's selfish. And General Muhammad taught an excellent class on Thursday, and he said, most people can't handle something good because what happens when they get something good is they can't get enough of it. Then they have to keep doing it. You can't just have good food one time. Then you become a glutton when you get good food because, it's so good you got to eat food all the time. And now you become obese because you're a glutton. Some people can't handle alcohol because when they get that taste of alcohol, they feel good and they can't handle feeling good. They can't handle it. They can't contain it. And so what happens? They become alcoholics and they drink and drink and drink because they always got to feel good. Nobody wants to suffer. Nobody wants to do that. That's a hard thing to understand. Nobody wants to suffer. And here we want to suffer. We suffer for Christ. Doesn't the scripture say that you endure hardness as a good soldier for Jesus Christ? And that's what the Bible tells you to do? Endure hardness? That means you got to suffer and you have to enjoy it too. Enjoy that suffering, man. Enjoy the suffering that you go through now because the suffering that you go through now is nothing compared to what's going to happen when Christ comes back for these heathens. They're going to have to suffer far worse than you've had to suffer. And every black and Hispanic who decides they don't want to suffer now, they'll just have to suffer later. And I'd rather not be them. You know what I'm saying? Point being, though, the point I'm trying to make, right, is that you take so much pleasure in the traditions of our oppressor, right? Stop thinking about pleasure and pleasing yourself all the time. Stop it. Because that's where your sin comes from. That's where your idolatry comes from. Why do you celebrate Christmas? To give gifts to other people? If you give gifts to a bunch of people and you don't get none back, you're angry at Christmas. That's the truth, right? None of these holidays are about what's Valentine's Day about? Is it so you can now listen? I'll do you one better. Valentine's Day, yeah, you is happy to give a gift to a woman and roses to a woman on Valentine's Day, but it's still about you because you're trying to get some box. That's what you're trying to do. You are trying to have sex tonight. That's why you give a woman a gift. Mm-hmm. All of these holidays in America are selfish. All of them. Every single one of them. They're selfish. That's because our oppressor is the devil, man. Our oppressor is the devil, and he is selfish. And we are being oppressed by a selfish bastard. And because he's so selfish, we've decided we have to be like him too.
where they didn't get presents, and then they said it's all about the family or and friends, and then it kept on happening, and then in the episode, after a while they got mad and because they didn't get no presents.
Right. Nope. Listen, that's what Christmas is. But Christmas is about the getting, not the giving. That's what all of this is about. What is New Year's about? New Year's is about you going out and getting drunk as hell and crashing into some little girl. That's your New Year's is about getting so drunk to where you lose your judgment and you get in your car, you put your keys in the ignition and you drive and you can't barely see. And then you crash into a family of people and murder all of them with your car, with your 2-ton vehicle. That's what you do. That's what it's about because you're selfish. That's what it's about. I don't know what to tell you, right? That's your idol, man. And you would put your idol above life, above God, above everything. You put it above your own life. Somebody was, and listen, matter of fact, let me see. Read that verse again while I look this up.
Come on. Verse 7. For every one of the house of Israel or of the stranger that sojourneth in Israel, which separateth himself from me, and setteth up his idols in his heart, and putteth the stumbling block of his iniquity before his face, and cometh to a prophet to inquire of him concerning me, I, the Lord, will answer him by myself.
Yeah, man. 3,691 accidents yesterday. Why is that? Is that because everybody was looking out for somebody else? Is that because they were being selfless? Or was it because they was all being selfish and drunk as hell? Drunk off of their goddamn feet, get into a car and murder people with their goddamn car. Murder themselves. Suicide. Get in their goddamn car. Head-on collisions and running over. Man, I was driving last night and I was seeing everybody jammed up. I mean, I'm seeing these cats. It was only, I think we left at what, 9:30. It was early in the night for a so-called New Year's night, and these cats is driving. I mean, they doing this. I'm like, God damn. Like, let me get home. I made sure my seatbelt was strapped on real good. I'm like, God damn, they gonna kill me. I'm the next statistic. I was one of those statistics. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I actually seen a car accident right here on by like 50 something. I have right here on Cactus. I seen a car accident. It was like, I guess someone was turning and the other guy was going straight, and the police was just right there. I didn't see nobody inside the cars, but I was like, damn. So early, this is what time? Like you said, it was barely 9.
Yeah,
and
right.
A car accident right there. I was like, damn.
Right.
What could have caused this? You know what I'm saying?
Man, some drunk idiot, man, trying to get to a party real fast. Right. And that's our problem. Like I said, that's our problem is we care too much about pleasure. And we don't think about anything. And pleasure supersedes care for others' lives, our own lives. It's just it's a plague that's come upon our people. I do want to get these next 7 verses though. That's too wild with you? To get these next 7? All right. Y'all ain't got nowhere to go, man. Y'all celebrate New Year's or what? y'all ain't got nowhere to go, man. Come on now. All right, let me see. Where was that? We read all of that? Yeah, we sure did. Let me see. You want to read this?
No, sir.
Go ahead. You want to use this? Use this.
No, sir.
From verse 8 to 14.
I'll take it. All right. It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 14, verse 8. Wabathathya Panya Bayash Pahara Rahasham Sayahar Larath Ralamash Layam Rahakad Sayar, Matharak, Mathraka, Amya, Rayadaitham, Kar, Anya, Yahweh, Sa, Wahan, Wahanabya, Kaya, Yapatha, Wadabar, Dabar, Anya, Yahweh, Pasayas, Pasayasya, As, Hanabya, Hahawa, Wanataya, Slovakia, Wanat, Wanatyas, Wanatyasya, As, Yadya, Slovakia, Ayawa, Rahasham, Dasyar, Dathwa, Slovakia. The end of verse 9, sir. Mathwa. Wanashawa, and a one, by one, by the rush,
It's like you coded me.
I one, Hanabya, Yahaya, Lamain, La'a, Yasha'aiwa, Iwad, Bayath, Yasharala, Ma'akara, Wala'a, Yatamawa, Iwad, Bakal, Pasha Wahayan, Laya, La'im, Ra'anya, Ahayaha, Laham, La'Allah Hayam, La'Alahayam, Salakia, Naam, Adanya, Yahweh. Verse 12. Wa Yahaya, Debar, Yahweh, Aliyah, La'amar, Ban, Aram, Arataza, Kaya, Thakata, Laya, Lama'il, Ma'il, Wanatayath, Salagia, Wanatyathya, Yadya, Alya, Washabrathya, Laha, Masaha, Lakam, Wahashal, Kathya, Ba, Ra'ib, Wahakarathya, Mamanha, Aram, Wabahamha, verse 14, Rahayal, Wahayaw, Wahayawa, Shalashath, Ha'anashyam, Ha'ala'a, Bathwaka, Nak, Danal, Danyal, Ra'ay, Wa'ayawan, or sorry, Wa'ayawab, Hama, Batazad, Quatham, Yanataza, Lawa, Napasham, Naam, Adanya, Yahweh. All right, that's the 14th, sir.
All right, let's get it. We'll go ahead and read those in the English now.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 14, verse 8. And I will set my face against that man, and I will make him a sign and a proverb.
Listen, man, that's what the Most High has done to all of you that worship idols, that you worship Christmas and worship New Year's. The Most High has set his face against you already. It's part of Deuteronomy 28. We know that. That's, when you find out you're an Israelite, you understand Deuteronomy 28 chapter, right? Those curses that are going to come up against us. And when you've decided that you're going to serve New Year's and Christmas and all of these things in this so-called holiday season over the Most High is going to set his face against you. And that's evident because everybody, like I just read the statistics for all of the accidents and terrible things that have happened yesterday, right? And throughout the holiday season, like that should just show you that the Most High is not with those holidays, right? Listen, you're going to get pulled over and go to jail. That's what's going to happen. That's what happened so many times last night. Somebody was drunk as hell after, the so-called New Year's celebration. It was drunk as hell, driving 1, 2, 3 in the morning, and got pulled over, and they're in 4th Ave jail right now. That's where they are. All right, because the Most High is not with that. Right. You know what I'm saying? With on Christmas, Christmas night is the night that everybody's jam. I mean, they full off of that eggnog, the eggnog with the vodka or the whiskey in it. You know what I'm saying? And they got caught up too. They got pulled over too. And they went to jail, and they're probably still in 4th Ave right now. right? Paying for what they did on Christmas, right? Point being is, the Lord is going to set his face against you. He's not going to be, you think the Lord is going to be with you and you serving a pagan God? You serve Nimrod, God damn, that's not like a Greek God. Like Nimrod is an African Canaanite God. You know what I'm saying? Like that, not a Canaanite, Cushite God. You get what I'm saying? That's what Nimrod is. And you served him a few days ago, last Saturday, matter of fact. And then here you are today serving Janus. Well, really last night, you probably hate Janus now because you probably hung over all to hell. But last night you loved Janus. You get what I'm saying? The Lord is going to set his face against you. And that hangover is proof that the Most High is not with the so-called New Year. But keep going.
And I will cut him off from the midst of my
The
people.
Lord going to get rid of you, man. If you don't change, if you don't get yourself together, if you don't stop celebrating these so-called holidays, the Most High is just going to cut you off. And and you'll be called least in the kingdom. That's what it'll be. You'll just be least in the kingdom. And, the brothers in here are going to, Lord willing, be the ruling authority, the 144,000 in the kingdom. And you'll just be on the bottom. If you fine with that, then go ahead. Keep doing what you're doing. If you fine with just being on the bottom, dying with the so-called white man, if you fine with that, go ahead. Keep going.
And ye shall know that I am the Lord.
And that's how we're going to know that the Most High is the Most High. Right? Give me Matthew the 7th chapter. We're going to know at that time that the Most High is the Most High. Above all other beings in this entire galaxy, this entire universe, whatever the hell you want to call it, right? We're gonna know. And how are we gonna know that the Most High is the Most High? Because he's just gonna kill all of us. He's gonna kill all of us that decide not to serve him. But as far as us that do serve him, we'll be saved and we'll understand that the Most High is the Most High. All right? Give me Matthew the 7th chapter. Let's start at the 22nd verse.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 22. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils? And in thy name done many wonderful works?
Now, in that day, in the day that Christ returns, and I really pray that this hits everybody's heart. In the day that Christ returns and it's time for judgment, there's going to be many people that say, Lord, Lord. I mean, professing that Christ is Lord, right? Professing that Christ is Lord, professing that that's the Son of God, he is our King, professing it and truly believing, right? Have we not prophesied in thy name? Didn't we prophesy in the name of Jesus, right? And in thy name, we cast out devils, as they say, right? And they truly believe these things. This is somebody who truly believes that they did everything that Christ wanted them to do. And in thy name done many wonderful works. Keep going.
Verse 23. And then will I profess unto them.
Then Christ is going to profess unto them. What's he going to say?
I never knew you.
I what?
I never knew
Christ
you.
never knew you. When you were celebrating Christmas and celebrating Halloween and celebrating Thanksgiving and celebrating New Year's and worshiping Janus, Christ never knew you. Never knew you at all. You thought you were serving Christ. You thought that's where Christ lived. You thought Christ lived in that goddamn stinking Christian church with that stinking Christian pastor. You thought that's where Christ lived. Listen, Christ never knew you while you was in there. I don't know who you are. Imagine that. Imagine thinking that you served Christ and then you come to Christ on Judgment Day and Christ look you in the face and say, I don't know this nigga. I don't know you. Go over there. Get away from me. Keep going.
I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity.
Listen, man, that's a scary thing. That should penetrate your goddamn soul. That should make you very afraid to not serve Christ. Because Christ one day, if you don't serve him, Christ one day is going to tell you, I never knew you. I don't know who this nigga is. I don't know him. I don't know you, John, or whatever the hell your name is. I don't know you, Luis, whatever the hell you are. Who cares? It doesn't matter because Christ didn't know you. He doesn't know you, and he's going to tell you, get the hell away from me. In so many words. He said, depart from me, ye that work iniquity. He doesn't want, if you're a sinner, he doesn't care about you. He doesn't. If you are a sinner, somebody that sins against the Most High, he don't give a damn about you. He don't care about you. And he's going to throw you away. Keep going.
Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man.
So let's talk about it, right? Let's see what a wise man would do. How is a wise man going to get the kingdom, right? What makes a man wise? right? Because it says, therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, and you got to hear what Christ say, and you have to do them. Christ told you keep the commandments. That's John the 14th chapter, right? The 15th verse. He said, keep my commandments. That's what he said. If you love me, keep my commandments. That's what Christ said. That's it. If we keep the commandments of the Most High, we'll be straight. But let's get into this parable, right, real quick, right? Christ said he's going to liken them unto a what?
A wise man.
A wise man. Keep going.
Which built his house upon a rock.
So now this man builds a house, and his house is built up on a rock, something solid, concrete. Concrete is a rock. This man built his house on a rock. Go ahead. Solid foundation. Let's go.
And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house.
So now he built that house on that rock, and the floods came. I mean, it was a flash flood, a terrible flood. The winds was beating up against that house. Every element of nature that should have destroyed that house. But what? Keep going.
And it fell not.
It didn't fall. That house did not fall. Why didn't it fall? Because it had a solid foundation. That foundation, that rock, that sturdy and solid foundation kept that whole house from falling. Through all of the elements, through the tornadoes and through the flash floods and through the winds and all of these things, that house stood because of not because of the house, not because of the wood on the house, but because of the foundation. Keep going.
For it was founded upon a rock.
For it was founded upon a rock. That's why. Keep going.
And every one that heareth these sayings of mine.
So now, if you hear the words of the Lord, if you hear the words of Christ, keep going.
And doeth them not.
But you don't do them. Like Christians, they hear the word of Christ. They hear Christ. They read Christ all the time, don't they? Don't they read John 3:16? Don't they read all of these things, all of these passages, all of these parables in the Bible? Don't they read all of these things? But they don't do them. So if you hear the words of Christ and you don't do them, keep going.
Shall be likened unto a foolish man.
You're going to be likened unto a foolish man, not the wise man. You'll be a fool to not serve Christ and not to hear what he's telling you. Keep going.
Which built his house upon the sand.
He built his house on sand. Loose gravel. That's what sand is. Sand is just loose. I mean, you take your hand through it and, play with it. Kids build sand castles out of it. It's malleable. You just do whatever you want to do with it. I wouldn't build a house on it.
When you get too comfortable in this world, that's what happens, man. You get too comfortable in this world, you think that, you good. You go to Christianity and do all that, I was just reading right now, Jeremiah 29, man, it's beautiful, how Most High checks, certain prophets, right, that they lied and taught, the people of Israel to trust in the captivity of Babylon, and right here, this is like, spiritually, it's Sodom and Gomorrah, spiritually Babylon, America. And you got so many Christians, pastors, leaders, black leaders saying, you in America, get yourself, this and that, celebrate, have fun, take care of your children, increase. But at the end of the day, you forget the work of the Lord. You're not teaching them about their true identity. You're not teaching them about who they are and shit. So,
right.
But you know what I'm saying, right?
No, good.
But yeah, it's crazy, how everything in the scriptures is like, it's being repeated daily to day,
right,
in this world. So it's crazy.
Man, that's Ecclesiastes, man. There's nothing new under the sun. The thing that has been, it will be. It's nothing new under the sun. Like this, what we're reading about. Listen. Let's listen to this. I'm teaching a class today in 2022. And I'm teaching it based off of a scripture that was written 3,500 years ago. 3,000 years ago. I'm reading something. I'm reading something from 3,000 years ago. And it still applies today.
Right.
The thing that has been is that which shall be. Right. It's now. It's always going to be. It's this forever until the kingdom comes. The thing that was happening in Babylon is the same thing that's happening here in America. It's the same thing, right? Let's keep going. This cat built his house on the sand. He didn't have no foundation. Keep going.
And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell.
And it fell. Keep going.
And great was the fall of it.
That's you, man. That's you celebrating New Year's. That's you. You are the one that built your foundation on sand. Your foundation is Janus. And Janus can't hold you up when the Lord returns, man. He can't hold you up. He cannot hold you up. But you know who could? You know, Christ can definitely hold you up. When Christ returns, he's going to be the one that you got to look to. And if you don't look to him, you're looking to somebody else. And if you serve January 1st, New Year's, you serve Janus, and that's who you're looking to for help. But Janus got you throwing up in a goddamn, in a bathroom somewhere right now. Janus got you raped last night. That's what happened at a New Year's party. You got raped last night at the New Year's party because of Janus, because you served Janus instead of Christ. It's a dangerous thing. It's a dangerous thing to decide that you're going to serve somebody other than Christ and the Most High. It's a dangerous thing. And so it's a game that you're playing with your life. I was taught always, even though my parents was in the world, my pops was in the world. He always taught me not to play with my life. And then I now can apply that to the truth. I wouldn't play with my life in here. Let's keep going.
Verse 28. And it came to pass.
Salaki, let's get back to let's finish up these last 7 verses.
Sir.
We might not even get through all of them, but
it's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 14, verse 9. And if the prophet be deceived when he hath spoken a thing, I, the Lord, have deceived that prophet.
Who deceived that prophet?
I, the Lord.
This is the Most High. The Most High said if a prophet is deceived when he has spoken a thing, the Most High deceived him. That seems kind of cruel, don't it?
Mm-hmm.
The Most High deceived T.D. Jakes, Creflo Dollar. The Most High deceived him. And I'll tell you why, but keep going.
And I will stretch out my hand upon him and will destroy him from the midst of my people Israel.
Sometimes the Most High will deceive somebody so he can test you. Because now think about it for a second. Give me 2 Chronicles, the 18th chapter. Think about why the Most High would have to deceive T.D. Jakes so that way T.D. Jakes can deceive the rest of us. We have to be tested. You know, Job was tested. Abraham was tested. Noah was tested. Lot was tested, right? All of the great people in this earth, all of the great men in this earth have been tested. Right now, here's the thing, right? The scriptures say in the book of Ecclesiasticus, the 2nd chapter, that great men, men that are worthy of praise, they have been tried in the fire. I mean, they've gone through hell. T.D. Jakes can deceive certain people. Creflo Dollar can deceive certain people, but he can't deceive me. He can't deceive you or you or you or you or you. He can't deceive us. Why? Because the Most High has called us and he's chosen us to be in the truth. Even though T.D. Jakes is still out there pushing those lies. There are only a certain number of people that are actually going to be able to take hold of this truth. Even when it's right in front of their face, most people reject it because they've been deceived by T.D. Jakes. But that's to his own destruction and to their own destruction. But to us, we were able to bypass that because I grew up watching T.D. Jakes. Y'all know in Judite families, we every Sunday morning, if you didn't go to church, he was on the TV screen. My rib called him a hippo. She don't call him a hippo, it's like it, but she be like the hippo man because that man looked like a goddamn hippo. And I remember thinking the same thing coming up. I was like, that man is, but it's like anyway. That's a side note. I ain't trying to shame the brother. I don't want to shame the brother for his looks. It's a brother, whatever. I do want to shame the brother for his actions and for what he teaches. It's like it, right? But point being, it's like it. Anyway, but I used to watch that man as I was growing up, I'm watching this cat, yell and scream on the TV screen all my life growing up. And then, of course, one day I found the truth. And I decided that I didn't decide to like it. The Most High taught me that none of what he was talking about meant anything. Because I remember some of the sermons he used to give. Some of the sermons he used to be yelling and screaming, talking about Jesus and not saying a goddamn thing. It's like if you think about like rap today, I was just talking about this with Officer Apayak the other day. Like rap today doesn't have any substance, but niggas still listen to it. Why? Because it's entertaining. That's why niggas still listen to rap today, because it's entertaining. They're not Nas. Nas is not, it's not like 99 Nas. It's not. You know what I'm saying? It's not like 98 Jay-Z. It's not like that no more. You got little baby kind of cold, so he kind of cold. So but you got your mumble rappers and your Lil Pumps and all of these cats, and people are listening to it because it's entertaining, even though they're not talking about anything. Well, that's exactly your TD Jakes and your Creflo Dollar. Why do you listen to them? They ain't talking about nothing, but they sound good. Sound good as hell. They got the music playing behind them. When they say certain words, the drums in the back, they bang the drums and they hit the organ real good and get that nice riff. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because they're entertainers. They're not, prophets of God. They're not true prophets. And the Most High has deceived them so that way they could so that the Most High could test you and see if you can be deceived. Sure, we were all in here deceived at one time, but now we've come into the truth. What we've done is what Isaiah told us to do in the 52nd chapter of Isaiah. We've arisen from the dust. We've awakened. We woke the hell up. We said, damn this. Damn this. This right here is the truth. Read what you got, 18 and 21.
This is the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 18, verse 21. And he said, I will go out and be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord said, thou shalt entice him, and thou shalt also prevail. Go out and do even so.
So now, just to give you a quick backstory on this, there was a wicked ruler at one time who needed to be destroyed. He needed to be destroyed. But in order for him to be destroyed, he had to be lied to and told that he was going to win this battle. And so the Most High said he was going to be a lying spirit in the mouth of the prophet. He put a lying spirit in the mouth of the prophet so that prophet would tell him, yeah, you'll do fine. You'll do fine. You're going to win this battle. Thus saith the Lord. Because really, thus saith the Lord. But the Lord lied to this cat. Why? So he could be destroyed. It's that simple. Keep reading.
God, sir. Verse 22. Now therefore, behold, the Lord has put a lying spirit in the mouth of these thy prophets, and the Lord hath spoken evil against thee.
Yeah, man. Listen, if the Lord don't like you, if the Lord not dealing with you, he will put a lying spirit in the mouth of the prophets that surround you, or he'll put a lying spirit on you. There's something that's called a reprobate in the Bible. When you read the Bible, you see the word reprobate. That means somebody that literally cannot understand this Bible, can't understand it, can't understand why the heathen cannot be saved, can't understand why they should keep the laws. They just can't get it. You can sit here and you can have a whole conversation and prove, like, it's so easy to prove that you have to keep the law in the Bible, even in the New Testament, all over. But a Christian won't, he just won't get it. It doesn't compute in his mind. It's because the Lord made him a reprobate. He's not going to get it. And that's why the scriptures say, don't cast your pearls unto swine. Because you're going to sit there and talk to that cat and give him these gems in his Bible, the most beautiful breakdowns, and he's not going to be able to understand it. That's you casting your pearls on the swine. Let that swine be a swine. Let that pig be a pig. Mm-hmm. It's that simple, right? Take me back, right? Let's finish this off. I know y'all trying to get up out of here so y'all can celebrate New Year's. Let's go. Let's mess with y'all. Let's get the 10th verse in Ezekiel.
This book of Ezekiel, chapter 14, verse 10. And they shall bear the punishment of their iniquity. The punishment of the prophet shall be even as the punishment of him that seeketh unto him.
That's a beautiful thing, because this is what we got to understand. The same people that go and listen to TD Jakes, they're going to get that same punishment that TD Jakes is going to get. I'm using him. Creflo Dollar is, I think, probably worse. Creflo Dollar tells you ain't got to keep no law. Meaning you don't even have to keep the 10 commandments, the so-called 10 commandments. He say keeping the law is sin. He said the devil wants you to keep the law. That's what Creflo Dollar said. That's wild. But you know what? When he said that, you know what happened? Everybody in the audience started to clap. Because everybody believed him. And so what is going to happen to them? The punishment of the prophet shall be even as the punishment of him that seeketh unto him. If you seeking to Creflo Dollar for counsel and seeking to him for righteous breakdowns of the Bible or whatever the hell you want to call it, you're going to receive the same punishment as him. And so now Matthew 5 and 17 and through 19 tells you that if you teach men not to keep the commandments, you will be the least in the kingdom of heaven, meaning you're going to be jammed up when it comes time for Christ to return, right? But if you listen to that cat, you sought to him, you're going to be least in the kingdom too. That's a terrible thing. Keep going.
Verse 11. That the house of Israel may go no more astray from me, neither be polluted any more with all their transgressions, but that they may be my people, and I may be their God, saith the Lord.
Honestly, that should make you sad, man, because that's all the Most High wants. All the Most High wants is just for us to he wants us to be his people, and he wants to be our power. That's it. That's it. That's all he wants. He don't want nothing more than that. And that should make you sad because he's been trying to get that from us for thousands of years. And we still sit up here and celebrate New Year's and pop off fireworks and get pissy drunk and crash into families of people and kill them. That's what we do. And all the Most High wants is for us to just listen to him. Go ahead, you just say something?
I have a question. If I
Good.
could, sir. Would it be fair to would it be scripturally correct to say that our Father, which art in heaven, like all he really wants is to be a family. He wants to be the Father and wants us to be his children.
That's a perfect way to put it out. That's if you want to make it. That's a perfect way to make it personal to you. It's like your father wanting the family to reunite again, right? Because he has one son that's in Christianity, one son that's in pagan idol worship. Well, I guess that's Christianity too, so like it, right? But he has one son that's in Christianity, one that's in Buddhism, one that's in Islam. And they all don't serve the Father because the Father told him, just serve me. Don't worry about them other guys that you see, them other people dealing with, them heathens dealing with. All of them are doing something different than what he told them to do. And he just wants his sons back, man. That's it. And like, listen, if you really care about that should break your heart if you care about the Most High. If you care about the Most High, that should break your heart because this is what the Most High is asking, or not asking. This is what the Most High is requesting of us. He says, he said, Salaki, that the house of Israel may go no more astray from me. He doesn't want us to leave him, but we constantly leaving him. We constantly leaving him to go serve Janus, to go serve Nimrod on Christmas, to go serve the Jesuits on Halloween, to go serve the so-called Saint Cupid. Or what's his name? I can't remember his name, but it doesn't even matter, right? On Valentine's Day, right? All of these other things. We leaving him to go do those things. The Most High just wants us to be cleaved unto him, right? Neither be polluted anymore with all their transgressions. The Most High doesn't want us to be jammed up like we are in America. You think the Most High looks down and he laughs and smiles and is happy about the situation that black people are facing in America? He's not happy with this. He's upset and sad. It grieves the Most High to see us in this condition. Nonetheless, we still we have to be taught this lesson. We have to be taught this lesson because we are still doing what the Most High told us not to do. Now, if we stop celebrating January 1st and New Year's and all of that, then the Most High would have mercy on us. And then we would be able to be a family with the Most High. That was excellent that you said that, Art, because that's what the Most High is trying to achieve with us. He just wants it to have a good structure like how it's supposed to be. The Father, children, and that's it. That's all he wants. Keep reading.
Come on. This is verse 12. The word of the Lord came again to me, saying, Son of man, when the land sinneth against me by trespassing grievously, then will I stretch out mine hand upon it, and will break the staff of the bread thereof, and will send famine upon it, and will cut off man and beast from it.
Go ahead.
Though these three,
just real quick, Salagi.
Yes,
so this is the Most High talking about. Well, matter of fact, you got to read the next verse so I can explain it.
Sir, verse 14. Though these three men, Noah, Daniel, and Job, were in it, they should deliver, but their own souls by their righteousness.
But their what?
By their right, Salakia. But their own souls by their righteousness.
Man, listen. You have to understand something, right? The Most High will destroy an entire kingdom. The Most High destroyed the entire inhabited earth for Noah and his family. That happened. The Most High flooded the entire earth, the entire inhabited earth for Noah, so he could repopulate the earth because his seed was untouched. It was the righteous seed, right? And because he was a righteous brother. Daniel, the same thing. What happened with Daniel? Listen, man. Daniel was in that goddamn lion's den and wasn't touched by them. That's amazing. Listen, the Babylonian Empire fell. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about what the Most High has done for all of these people. The Most High is going to destroy everything around. Now, remember, this is a future prophecy. This still hasn't happened. This right here, what we're reading about, right? Because it said that the house of Israel may go no more astray from me. So this is talking about something that has not happened yet, because we are still going astray from the Most High. So this is talking about the return of Christ. This is talking about when Christ establishes his kingdom. So this hasn't happened yet. And what's going to happen is the same thing that happened in the time of Noah. The Most High is going to purge the earth. He's going to get rid of all of the wicked off of the face of this earth. That's what's going to happen. Give me Genesis, the 19th chapter. Let's talk about this for just a second. Let's talk about this, because this is extremely important to be able to understand when it comes to the return of Christ. Extremely important. Give me Genesis 19 and 14.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 19, verse 14. And Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, Up, get you out of this place, for the Lord will destroy this city.
The Lord will do what?
Destroy this city.
Where was Lot at this time? Anybody can answer.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Sodom and Gomorrah. He was in the land of Sodom and Gomorrah. And if you read up in this chapter, this is the 19th chapter of Genesis. If you read up in this chapter, you'll read that there was a mob of homosexuals that wanted to rape 2 male angels that were in Lot's house. That's how disgusting this place was. It was disgusting, which also shows you, Salaki, homosexuality is an absolutely violent sin. It's violent. Salaki. I just want to make sure everybody understands that, because they wanted to rape those 2 men. Now, moving forward, directly after this happened, the Most High said, no, I gotta cut this place off, man. This place is jammed up. I'm not dealing with it. He said, I'm going to destroy this place. And so now that we know where Lot is at and where he come from, Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, Up, get you out of this place. Let's get the hell out of here, because the Most High is going to destroy this city. Keep going.
But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law.
Nobody believed Lot, just like they don't believe us. But keep going.
Verse 15. And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife and thy 2 daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city.
Listen, the angels that was in his house, that Lot was housing, they said, get the hell out of here, man. Y'all got to go. Take your family and get up out of here. If you don't, you're going to be consumed with the city, because the Lord is going to deal with this place, going to destroy this place. Give me verse 17.
Verse 17. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, Escape for thy life, look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed.
Listen, the Most High told you, listen, don't look behind you. Run the hell away from this place and never look back. Give me verse 24.
Verse 24. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven.
So now, what you could look at that like a meteorite shower. That's what that is. Brimstone and fire out of the sky. That's like a meteorite shower. And that's what he did. He destroyed that place. He destroyed that disgusting place, because it was full of disgusting, I don't want to get cut off from YouTube, disgusting members of the LGBTQ community. That's what it was full with. Right? Keep going. 25.
Verse 25. And he overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the cities and that which grew upon the ground.
He destroyed that entire place. All of it, because of the iniquity that was in that place. But let's go ahead.
So is it then fair to say that the Most High stoned them?
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good. I like that one. I like that. Stone their ass to death. So like it. That's a beautiful thing. God damn. Most High stoning these cats from the heavens. That's a beautiful thing, right? But why was Lot saved? Because he was righteous. Even though he was surrounded by all of this homosexuality and all of the terrible, disgusting things that they was doing in Sodom and Gomorrah, he was righteous. Now, what does that tell you about what you can do in America? Although America is full of homosexuals and full of people that celebrate New Year's, which is the same thing. That ain't no sin greater than the other. So if you celebrate New Year's, you the same as a homosexual. I want everybody to understand that.
Mhm.
Y'all might think y'all think I'm, y'all might think I'm tripping. I'm I done gone over the edge. No, but that's what the Bible says. Ain't no sin greater than the other. If you've offended in one point of the law, you've offended in all. Meaning, if you've stole from somebody, you are a homosexual.
Mhm.
If you lie to somebody, you're homosexual. That's how it is.
Mhm.
If you lie to somebody, you are a murderer. It's all the same, all of it. If you celebrate New Year's and celebrate Janus, you are a homosexual, a murderer, a thief, an adulterer. You are all of those things, because if you offend in one point of the law, you offend in all. That's what the Bible says. That's not me. That's not Parak saying this. Kabbalah didn't say it. You didn't say it. You didn't say it. Nobody in here said it. This came from thousands of years ago. So I would just stay away from all of it if you don't want to be a homosexual. I wish I could talk the way I want to talk. So I know that YouTube thing. Listen, man, them cats at YouTube be on us. I don't know how many strikes we got, but they trying to get us off of there. I got to be careful what I say, Salakia. But if I could just say the things that I wanted to say, it's all good. No sweat. When Christ returns, I'm gonna say everything I want to say. Salakia.
You going to offend, so
God, because listen, man, I know the way Christ spoke. I know he was. Listen, I'm gonna shut up, Salakia. But I know the way he spoke. We can read that in the Bible, right? Read 26.
Okay. Verse 26. But his wife looked back from behind him.
His wife did what?
Looked back.
Oh my God. His wife was dumb as hell. Stupid. Because in the 17th verse, he said, look not behind thee. That's what the Most High said. Don't look back. Why did his wife look back? Anybody want to give me the answer to that?
She was disobedient. She wanted to see what was happening behind her.
That's true. That's true.
I think she looked behind her because she wanted to see what's gonna happen, and you want to know what's called Yahushai power and stuff.
No, she didn't want to see the power. What do you think?
Like I said, she missed it.
She missed it. Give that a hand, man. She's just like all of the people that celebrate New Year's. You cannot leave the customs of America. You would look back and you would see Christmas and you would say, I can't give up Christmas. You would look back and you would see New Year's Eve with that's why I tried to get y'all nostalgic. They don't really know about that, but y'all might know about that, right? With the fireworks as a child, and it was just a beautiful thing. You might look back and say, yeah, America can't be destroyed. I grew up here and I had Christmas, my first Christmas that I remember waking up my parents at 5 o'clock in the morning and getting the Christmas presents under the tree and going to some park or sitting on the roof and watching the fireworks. And you're going to look back and say, oh man, I love this place, man. It's a shame it's being destroyed. This bitch did the same thing. Lot's wife did the same thing. She looked back because she missed Sodom and Gomorrah. That's what that was her problem. And what happened? Keep going.
And she became a pillar of salt.
She became a pillar of salt, man. The Most High destroyed her. She froze. Y'all see the movies where they freeze up into a stone? Y'all seen Frozen? I think y'all done seen Frozen, where they freeze up into an icicle block. Well, this bitch became a pillar of salt. She just became a pillar of salt, meaning like if you see any statue that you might find, that's what she became. She wanted to look back. Okay, she's gonna stay looking like that forever. She's gonna stay looking back forever in a pillar of salt. That's what happened to her, because she cared more about Sodom and Gomorrah than she cared about serving God. And that should go to show you too. I'm gonna get you 1 second. That should go to show you also. Some women are only in the truth for their husbands. Some women only come into the UPK because their husband's in the UPK, but they don't really want to be in here. That happens. General Muhammad said it out of his own mouth. Some people only come into the truth because of their husband. Because if their husband was a Muslim, they'd be a Muslim too. If their husband was a Christian, they'd be a Christian too. They would do whatever their husband said. But then there are other women that no matter what their husband does, in righteousness, they'll always stand the truth. Lot's wife was not like that though. So like she was never in the truth. She only wanted what she wanted, and she was selfish, and her selfishness got her destroyed. So imagine you celebrating, New Year, the so-called New Year. You're gonna turn into a pillar of salt too. Listen, They say in Nagasaki that there are still people's shadows imprinted on the ground from the nuclear blast. Guess what? That's going to happen in America too. America is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear warfare, and your shadow is going to stay in America since you love America so much. Go ahead. You gonna say something?
I was just gonna say, that pillar of salt, right? It should be a good example of how, straight and narrow is the way. When the Most High speaks to you and tells you how to live, you can't look back. You can't turn to the left or to the right.
Right.
You can't be broad. You can't be wide. You can't have so much
You got
room for errors.
Right.
So much room for comfort to feel like you can do whatever you want to do.
Right.
Because otherwise you won't end up like Lot's wife.
Right. Khan, and that's exactly like Lot's wife is the epitome of those who celebrate New Year's. That's it. And so that should also go to show you that if you decide that you want to be like her, you're going to end up in the same destruction. That she, go ahead.
You can't be open-minded. That's really what I was trying to think of.
Yeah,
be open-minded to the things of the world. It's a lot.
Right.
It also shows you don't follow laws.
That's a perfect example of you not following the law, because even the Most High Himself told us, he didn't tell us. He told Lot. He said, "Neither look back behind you. Don't look when you run away," because He told him to run. I got you in a second. He told you to run away from this place. Get away, because this place is going to be destroyed. And He said, "Don't look behind you." And what did this bitch do? She looked behind her. She's directly disobeyed a commandment of the Most High. The Most High told her what to do. She didn't want to listen.
Yeah, He always warns. The people that always get destroyed and stuff. Yeah, he always warns them, but they don't listen. Yeah,
nobody listens. Nobody today listens. When we go out on the street corner and we say the same thing that the Most High told Lot, we tell. Listen, Revelation 18 and 4. Matter of fact, I'll get that real quick. Revelation 18:4 is a perfect example of what we've been telling people, and they won't listen to. Revelation 18:4 says, "And I heard another voice come from heaven saying, 'Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.'" The Most High told us to come out of America so we do not receive of her plagues. This place is going to be destroyed. That's the plagues that's coming to America. We have to leave America, not physically, but mentally, like we have done here in the UPK. We leave the doctrines of America, right? So we don't receive of the plagues that are coming to America. America is going to be destroyed with fire and brimstone too. That's going to happen too. You get what I'm saying? This place is going to be destroyed, and we're going to escape it because we have come out of this place spiritually, mentally, right? This is the same thing that happened in Sodom and Gomorrah. In Sodom and Gomorrah, the Most High told Lot, "Get out of there, come out of her," right? So you don't receive of her plagues. The plagues of Sodom and Gomorrah was fire and brimstone. If he didn't get out of there, what would have happened? He would have stayed there, and what would have happened? He would have got rained down on with fire and brimstone, got destroyed. But his wife was disobedient. And what happened with his wife? She got turned into a pillar of salt. And that just goes to show you that, once again, like he said, if you don't keep the laws of the Most High, you're going to be destroyed too. It's very simple. It's not hard to understand. But let's keep reading. Let me see. I want to actually get another scripture. We're going to go into Philippians real quick. Philippians 2:12, right? Because what did Lot do? Lot didn't look back. And if you listen now, just to show y'all exactly how deep this gets, Lot's wife looked back and she turned into a pillar of salt. Did Lot look back at her when she turned into a pillar of salt? No, because otherwise he would have been turned into a pillar of salt. So when she disobeyed the Most High and turned into a pillar of salt because she looked back, Lot kept it pushing with the rest of his family. He didn't look back because he worked out his own salvation. Let's get that. Philippians 2:12. It says, "Wherefore, my beloved," you can read it.
Philippians chapter 2, verse 12. "Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling.
That's what Paul said. Paul said, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. What was Paul? I mean, Slugger, what was Lot supposed to do? Was he supposed to turn around and help his wife? Because if he would have turned around and tried to help his wife, he would have been disobeying the Most High too, and then he would have been jammed up, right? He had to work out his own salvation with fear and trembling. He feared the Most High. That's one thing that we know about Lot, because he didn't turn around and try and help his wife. And you got to understand, for a man, you can come up, but you got to understand, for a man, your wife is the most precious thing to you. Like she is more precious than your children, than your father, than your mother. Your wife is your flesh. That's what the Bible says. That's the closest relationship that you can have with anybody ever, a husband and a wife. And he decided that he was going to serve his God, then go back and try to help his wife who disobeyed God. That's what we all got to do. It doesn't matter if your wife, listen, if you are, the scriptures say this. The scriptures say that you have to keep the law no matter whether your husband does or your wife does or not, right? And because you keep the law, if the unbelieving depart, let them depart. If you decide that you're not going to have, if you are a man, like, of course, a man has much more authority than a woman, right? So a man can say, no Christmas tree goes up in my house. None. On New Year's, you're not taking my kids anywhere to go to see no fireworks. We're not doing that because we don't celebrate New Year's, right? The scriptures say, if the unbelieving depart, let them depart. If your wife decides that she wants to leave you because you don't celebrate Christmas, let her leave. That's it. That's what the Most High wants you to do. He wants you to let her go. Don't try to fight for that woman. And the same thing for a sister. If a sister has a husband that is an unbeliever, and you come to class and you keep the Sabbath and you keep the high holy days and you watch these classes and you understand that our oppressor is the devil, but your husband doesn't want to, ain't no use in trying to beg him to let you serve God. Just like we wouldn't beg the white man to let us serve our God, because are we doing that now? Do we have to beg anybody to get this building and to put these signs up and to serve God? Hell no. So we're going to do it anyway. We're going to serve God. That's what's going to happen. And if your husband leaves you because you are in the truth, then you have no obligation to him. That's what the Bible says. Because we must serve God, no matter who tells us not to. If your son tells you to, listen, so many people decided not to serve God on December 25th because their son or their daughter told them not to. Because they said, I have to have gifts because it's Christmas. I want to see fireworks, Dad. Okay, all right, we'll go see fireworks because you bend and you fold for everything. But that's not the way the Most High wants things to work. He doesn't want you to be that way, right? So you have to work out your own salvation. Focus on yourself. You might not be able to save your wife. You might not be able to. You know what I'm saying? You might not be able to save your children. Just save yourself. Save yourself and tell everybody about it. And then they'll have to work their own salvation out with fear and trembling. That's it, man. That's it. That's all we need. Just to make sure everybody understands, I'm just gonna recap real quick and then we'll close out. Of course, we all understand, right? Today is not the new year, right? This year's new year, I believe, is going to be on the Gregorian calendar. I believe it'll be April 1st, right? The month Abayab, right, which is the first month of the year, that falls usually between March and April. That's the new year, and we don't celebrate it. Even the actual new year, we don't celebrate. You know what we do celebrate? The 15th day. That's like the 14th day of the new year, which is it's like the 14th day of the first month, which is the Passover. And that's what we'll be celebrating, April 15th. April 15th at Cocoa Beach. We're going to, in Cocoa Beach, Florida, we're going to celebrate the Passover. We're not going to celebrate the New Year, though, because nobody gives it. What is the New Year about? I mean, does that matter? Just so everybody can understand, the only reason why we keep track of time is just to keep track of time. That's it. So we know when our Sabbath days are. So we know when our high holy days are, and that's it. But besides that, I mean, what does it matter? We keep track of the seasons, so we understand. Especially because Israel was it's not really anymore, but was very big on husbandry and farming and things like that. You have to keep track of the seasons so you can understand what to prepare for. In winter, you're not growing a goddamn thing out of that field of yours. So you need to gather everything that you have before the fall. That's why we keep track of things, but not to celebrate them. Not to celebrate them. Even Baal, we all know who Baal is. Baal is a false god, a false idol. That god was created as a farming god. Because it was like there's so many false religions based around things that don't need religion. Nigga, if you farm, you farm. That's it. I don't understand how, I just don't get it. But of course, the Most High is going to send Christ back here and he's going to set everything straight the way that it's supposed to be. Right. And you're not going to be dealing with Baal and Janus and Nimrod and all of these other gods that you celebrate, right? You're not going to be dealing with those things. There will be no more Christmas. You're gonna celebrate the Feast of Hanukkah. You're gonna celebrate the Feast of Dedication. You're gonna celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles. You're gonna celebrate the Passover. That's what you're gonna celebrate, right? And that's what the Most High wants you to do. The Most High doesn't want you celebrating a so-called New Year. There's nothing special about it. Last thing I'll end off with is everybody that claims that there's such a big significance in the transition from one year to the next. Just like I mentioned earlier, they never make any solid change. They always say new year, new me, and you're still the same old bitch and you're the same punk nigga that you was the month before.
Nobody should care about New Year. It's just a new year.
It's just a new. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's just a new year. It's a new year that it's a cycle of seasons. That's it. Right. It's just a cycle of seasons. And in spring that's when you're gonna yield the most of your crops. That's it.
And I was sitting in my living room, and then you know how they're out there shooting and the fireworks. It's like when I see that those colors go up, I just was like, Most High, please just put me to sleep. I do not even want to sleep nothing. And he put me to sleep.
Yeah, you went to hell to bed, huh? Yeah. Man, and that's a beautiful thing, and that's a beautiful transition in mind too, because I remember staying up to watch the fireworks. You know what I'm saying? But then now, like you said, now I just want to go. I don't want to see that. You know what I'm saying? I want to go the hell to bed. Like I told you, they was complaining yesterday, talking about they was like, man, they was vexed. They was sore vexed. They didn't. It was like, damn, it's them people's New Year's, huh? They finna be shooting in the middle of the night. It's dangerous as hell. Like, listen, man. Captain Mashak made an excellent post. Them bullets that they shooting up there, they're going to come down on somebody's child. That's what's going to happen. Going to come down on somebody's child, and who's going to be to blame for that? Nobody, because you shot it up in the air and it's going to go 1,000 yards that way. Damn, I should have sneezed that. But point being, man, it's a bunch of wickedness going on, and what we really got to understand is that the Most High does not want us to celebrate these things. It's that simple. I know that sounds like simple, and that's because it is. It's very simple. The Most High does not want us to celebrate New Year's. And so if you did last night, hopefully you have the worst hangover of your life. I pray that everybody that celebrated New Year's has the most banging hangover ever. Feel like their head is about to explode out of their goddamn face. That's what I hope. I hope that happens. And I pray that everybody that celebrated New Year's watches this class. Watches all of the classes that we've been teaching throughout the week, throughout the month. It's like throughout the month. God damn, it's time for me in this class. Huh? Throughout the month. Throughout the month, right? I pray that they watch this thing, and I pray that they never do it again. Because once again, my prayer is that everybody that's an Israelite gets saved. That's what I would rather everybody gets to come up on them chariots with us. That's what I pray. But of course, we know that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. But if you're the one that decides that you'd rather serve New Year's and Christmas, and the next holiday coming up is Valentine's Day. If you rather serve that than serve the Most High, you won't be up there, and you'll have sealed your fate in that moment. All right, shut up. Y'all gotta tell me to shut up sometimes. Not y'all. Y'all shut your mouths. But everybody else, y'all tell me to shut the hell up sometimes. I'm just playing. So all right, just men up here, Amadi.
Yasharallah.
which means to Israel. Everybody else, I imagine, which means to stand. Wapan Yahak with Dum. Turn to face the east. Close out with these prayers. Beginning with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malak with Ka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'aratazah, Kawah, Hayah, Bashemayim, Nathalanaw, Lakam, Call Yawam, Wasalakanaw, Kawabwatnaw, Kasalaknaw, Kawabwatinaw, Wala'ah, Tabayanaw, Banasai 1, Abal, Hawashanaw, Mayan, Raikaya, Laka, Hamalagwa, Waha'ala, Wathaparat, Laiwalamyu, Aman. In the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. The Akak, the power, in Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Baba Kushai, Nathanlanaw, Hakak, Larapa'ah, Kal Maka'ala, Wakal Madawar, Hakak Latahar, Hamatazarayim, Hakak, Lakwayam, Hamathyum, Hakak, Awrakawa, Hatama'ala, Lagarshan, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Duwaraman. In the English. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, please give us the power, the power to heal all manner of sickness, and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahushai, Lamawat, Ragalka, Alyanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yayashun, Shalmar, Yasha Allah, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al Ya, Yamyaka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'a, Yakaka, Wayarak, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makal Rai, Yashamar, Atnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'athka, Waba, Wa'aka, Ma'aitha, Wa'ai, Awalam. In the English. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from Yahweh. Which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Yasharallah shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out, and thy coming in, from this time forth, and even forevermore. Psalms the 83rd chapter in the Hebrew. Allahayim, Al Damayalaka, Al Thakarash, Wa Al Tashakwat, Al Kayahana, Awayabyaka, Yahamaya 1, Ra'ash, Al Imaka, Ya'arayamwa, Sawada, Wayatha, Ya'aitazawa, Al Tazapawanyaka, Amarwa, Lakawa, Wanakakidam, Magalia, Wala'a, Yazakar, Sham Yasha'ala, Awuda, Kaya, Nawa'aitazawa, Laba, Yakadwa, Alyaka, Barya, Barayat,
Barayat,
Yakarathwa,
Yakarathwa,
Ahaya,
Ahalia,
Adawam,
Adawam,
Wayashamai Aliyam,
Wayeshama Aliyam,
Mawa'aba,
Mawa'aba,
Wahagaria,
Wahagaria,
Gabal,
Gabal,
Waimawan,
Waimawan,
Waimalat,
Waimalat,
Palashah,
Palashat,
I'm Yeshabia,
I'm Yeshabia,
Tazawar,
Tazawar,
Gam Ashawar,
Gum Ashawar,
Nalawa,
Alawa,
Imam,
Imam,
Hayawa,
Hayawa,
Zarawai,
Zarwai,
Labanya Lawat,
Labanya Lawat,
Salah,
Salah,
Ashalaham,
Ashalaham,
Kamadyan,
Kamadyan,
Kasaya,
Kasaya,
Sara'ah,
Sara'ah,
Kayabyan,
Kayabyan,
Banakal,
Banakal,
Kwayashwan,
Kwayashwan,
Nashamagwa,
Nashamagwa,
Ba'ayan,
Bayan,
Da'ara,
Dara,
Hayawa,
Hayawa,
Daman,
Daman,
La'adama,
La'adama,
Shayathamwa,
Shayathamwa,
Nada,
Nada,
Yabmawa,
Yabmawa,
Ka'ira,
Ka'ira,
Wakaza'aba,
Wakaza'aba,
Wakazabak,
Wakazabak,
Wakatazal,
Wakatazal,
Mana'ai,
Mana'ai,
Kal,
Kal,
Nasaya,
Hasaya,
Kamwa,
Kamwa,
Ashar,
Ashar,
Amarwa,
Amarwa,
Nairashah,
Nayarashah,
Lanawa,
Lanawa,
Ath,
Ath,
Na'awath,
Nawath,
Alahayim,
Alahaya,
Alahayim,
Alahaya,
Shayathamwa,
Shayathamwa,
Kagogala,
Kagogala,
Kakwash,
Kakwash,
Lapanya Rakah,
Lapanya Rakat,
Ka'ash,
Ka'ash,
Saba'ira,
Raba'ira,
Ya'ira,
Ya'ira,
Wakalahabah,
Wakalahabat,
Thalahat,
Talahat,
Haryam,
Haryam,
Khan,
Kan,
Tharadapma,
Taradapma,
Basa'iraka,
Basa Iraka,
Wabasa,
Wabasa,
Wapathka,
Wapathka,
Tabahalam,
Tabahalam,
Mala'ah,
Mala'ah,
Panyaham,
Panyaham,
Kualawan,
Kualawan,
Wayabakwashwa,
Wayabakwashwa,
Shamka,
Shamka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Yabashwa,
Yabashwa,
Wayabahawa,
Wayabahawa,
Aya'ai,
Idai,
Wayakaparwa,
Wayakaparwa,
Wayabadwa,
Wayabadwa,
Wayada'aiwa,
Wayadaiwa,
Kaya'atha,
Kaya Atha,
Shamka,
Shamka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Labadka,
Labadka,
Al-Yawan,
Al-Yawan,
Al-Kal,
Al-Kal,
Al-Ratazah.
Al-Ratazah.
Psalms 83rd chapter in English. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace,
Hold not thy peace,
and be not still,
and be not still,
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
For lo,
For lo,
thine enemies make a tumult,
thine enemies make a tumult,
and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people,
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people,
and consulted against thy hidden ones.
and consulted against thy hidden ones.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
Come,
and let us cut them off from being a nation,
and let us cut them off from being a nation,
that the name of Yasharallah
that the name of Yasharallah
may be no more in remembrance.
may be no more in remembrance.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee,
The tabernacles of Edom,
the tabernacles of Edom,
and the
and
Ishmaelites,
the Ishmaelites,
of Moab,
of Moab,
and the
and the
Hagarenes,
Hagarenes,
Gabal,
Gabal,
and Ammon,
and Ammon,
and Amalek,
and Amalek,
the Philistines,
the Philistines,
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Assur also was joined with them.
Assur also is joined with them.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah.
Do unto them as unto the Midianites,
Do unto them as unto the Midianites.
as to Sisera,
As to Sisera.
as to
As
Jabin,
to Jabin.
at the brook of Kasan,
At the brook of Kisan.
which perished that endured.
Which perished that endured.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like a rib,
Make their nobles like a ram.
and like Ze'er.
And like Ze'ed.
Yea,
Yea.
all their princes as Zabah,
All their princes as Zabah.
and as Amunah,
And as Almunah.
who said,
Who said,
Let us take to ourselves
Let us take to ourselves
the houses of Yahweh
the houses of Yahweh
in possession.
in possession.
Oh my God,
Oh my God.
make them like a wheel,
Make them like a wheel.
as the stubble before the wind,
As they stumble before the wind.
as the fire burneth the wood,
As the fire burneth the wood.
and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
And as the flame set the mountains on fire.
So persecute them with thy
So
tempest,
persecute them with thy tempest.
and make them afraid with thy storm.
And make them afraid with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame,
Fill their faces with shame.
that they may seek thy name.
That they may seek thy name.
O
O
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
let them be confounded in trouble forever.
Let them be confounded in trouble forever.
Yea,
Yea.
let them be put to shame and perish,
Let them be put to shame and perish.
that men may know that thou,
That men may know that thou,
whose name alone
whose name alone
is Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
art the most high over all the earth.
art the most high over all the earth.
The blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatha Yahweh,
Barakatha Yahweh.
Wa Yahweh Shai,
Wa Yahweh Shai.
Wa Mayaka Allah,
Wa Mayaka Allah.
Wa Allahayim,
Wa Allahayim.
Matazab Ya'ah,
Matzab Ya'ah.
Allah Wab Yahana,
Allah Wab Yahana.
Ha Allah Wapyam,
Ha Allah Wab Yahana.
Ha Saranyam,
Hasaranyam.
Ha Kwatazayanyam,
Hakwata Zayanyam.
Ha Kayayayam,
Hakaya Yalyam.
Wa Ha Gwatyan,
Waha Gwatyan.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
Ba Shem Yahweh Shai,
Hashem Yahweh Shai.
the Wadaman,
The Wadama.
in the English. Bless you, Yahweh,
Bless you, Yahweh.
and Yahweh Shai,
And Yahweh Shai.
and Michael,
And Michael.
and the
And
angels,
the angels.
commanding General Yohanan,
Commanding General Yohanan.
the generals,
The general.
the
The
captains,
captains.
the officers,
The officers.
the troopers,
The troopers.
and the
And
sisters.
the sisters.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
in the name of Yahweh Shai,
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it.
Sorry while you're shopping, you can turn and be seated. Any brother that wants their head anointed with oil, you can step up to the front. Slug, y'all, 1 second. All right, y'all know the drill. I'm gonna say these prayers. Point to you, say your name 3 times. Yabaraka Yahweh, Waya Shamarka, Ya Ar Yahweh, Pan Yahweh, Ayuka, Waya Kanka, Yasha Yahweh. It's like Yasha Ay Yahweh, Pan Yahweh, Ayuka, Waya Shamlika, Shalom, Yahweh, by Shem Yahweh Shai, Barak, Rapah, Magan, Hagan,
Kabaramath.
Kabaramath,
Kabaramath.
Kabaramath,
Kabaramath.
Kabaramath,
Genesis.
Genesis,
Genesis.
Genesis,
Genesis.
Genesis,
Shy.
Shai,
Shy.
Shai,
Shy.
Shai, by Shem Yahweh Shai, the Wadaman. Clap it up. All right, what I just said in the English was Yahweh bless thee and keep thee. Yahweh make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. Yahweh lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai, bless, heal, shield, protect. Kabbalah, Genesis, and Shai. Says you want to get on it, right? All right, since you know the drill as well. Yabaraki Yahweh, Waya Shamarka, Ya Ar Yahweh, Pan Yahweh, Ayuka, Waya Kanka, Yasha Ay Yahweh, Pan Yahweh, Ayuka, Waya Shamlika, Shalom, Yahweh, Ba Shem Yahweh Shai, Barak, Rapah, Magan, Hagan, Kana, Ba Shem Yahweh Shai, the Wadaman. Get a sister hand clap. All right, once again, what I just said was Yahweh bless thee and keep thee. Yahweh make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. Yahweh lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai, bless, heal, shield, protect, Kana. All right, you can find that in Numbers, the 6th chapter, verses 22 through 27. All right, with that, we're going to close out the Sabbath service. Just the men of Israel, Imagine, which means to stand. We're going to give each other a courtesy salute to salute out the Sabbath service. Men of Israel, Imagine Shabbat. Imagine, Barak. Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh, Shai, Barakatham. Side towards the sister, Imagine, which means to stand. You get a sister a courtesy salute as well. Men of Israel, Imagine Shabbat. Imagine, Barak. Yahweh Shemar Ilathai B'Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shamar Ilathai B'Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shai. Most on Christ. Yahweh Matah. Sabbath service is moved.